All right, Toby, we are live. If you want to intro us in, my dude.
And there it is. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining the Twitter space. See some very awesome people here. See Indio, Lely, Mr. Xavier. I'm asking lives, Lowry, Heracles, and of course silly questions. And then Shane is in here twice. Oh, we got a clever guy maybe. So yeah, thanks for being here. And Thursday night chill session is like what we have on the title bar here, and really, yeah, it's just us. Like, that's pretty accurate, I guess. We're just hanging out live on X Twitter Spaces. Come have an open conversation with us. Talk about the ether. Talk about
So,
geos. What?
dude, that was a fake Shane.
Yeah.
I
Oh
was just
yeah.
looking
You
at the
saw the name,
profile.
right?
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it was about to get spicy in here. I was okay with it. I was ready for the spice.
Dude, that's badass.
I want to know, right? Like, cause his name, all right, the guy's name was Shane Saint Plagier. So the accusation is that Shane plagiarized Walter Bislin's code for the flat Earth model, and we've already openly discussed this numerous times, but I'm just going to say it again. You cannot plagiarize open source material. You cannot plagiarize public domain. If something was produced under public domain, then it belongs to the public. And thus, it literally, quite literally, cannot be plagiarized. And if it was called plagiarization to do that, then Linux is plagiarized. All of the internet protocols are plagiarized. Everything that built the open internet is essentially plagiarized because it's all built on sharing open source ideas. So, kind of a nonsensical point of view to take on it. But people like to. I'm giving the trolls too much attention, but I do like to, you know, just point out that that's literally how open source works and how science works. But anyways, yeah. So anyone that wants to chat or whatever, Alan, Shane, one of you guys have something you want to say?
Yeah. So Shane, whenever he gets his mic sorted out, he's going to do a quick little recap on the tide situation and go over that, the meaningfulness of that. Like a little mini recap. And I'm sending out some mics to the lads out in the chat. So there's no strict protocol here, boys. If you have anything you want to talk about, I know Xavier's got some insights to chime in on from Bennett's presentation with all that logic, dude. That was an intense amount of philosophy and logic put into that, and I loved every minute of it. So we had an exciting week.
Yeah, that
But
was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, Shane's going to be recapping the tide, a quick note on the tides, and then we'll probably talk a little bit about Bennett's presentation and just anything the group wants to talk about. So I sent out mics to everyone. If nobody got mics, that sucks. I'll reload the space if it already bugged out. But,
And welcome to Flat Earth Dave. How about that?
oh, there we go. Stone made it up. So it tells me the mics are going out. Okay.
Nice. And don't forget, you can always reload the space if we need to. Although I haven't heard Shane once yet. Has Shane been talking?
Only on Discord. Let me unmute and see what's up. Yo, Shane, you on Discord, dog? Bet. All right, he's having technical difficulties where we can't hear him for some reason. So that's unfortunate.
How about now? Do I exist yet?
There he is.
You exist.
Yay!
You exist.
We got Flat Earth Dave in the crowd, and we got our new boy Corpus. Dude, I'm just gonna call you Psych, right? Because I can't pronounce your channel name, even though we've talked a bunch. It's too long, and I can't say it. I'm sorry.
Oh, your boy made it in?
He's here. Throw him a mic.
I don't see him. I'm gonna reload. We'll be right back. It's already time to reload.
I'm just checking my mic. You guys got me?
Sure do.
All right, great.
Yep.
Testing.
Test. Heard someone say test.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
The Earth is flat.
Sure enough.
Okay, so for the record, I just want to make it clear that the way you say my profile name is psychedelicization. So it's
Bro, I
basically
can't say that.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Come
either.
on, man. Psych? Can we call you Psych?
you can. So just call me Corpus.
Corpus.
This is my whole philosophy. So I just had a psychedelic experience, and during that psychedelic experience, I had this epiphany to where when I came down, I had this humongous download that I've never had in my entire life. And it gave me the idea to just fucking do it, to just fucking start making a channel of content creation that is flat earth, that people want to see, that basically is in OnlyFans form. And so I was like, fuck, take it to the next level. I'm going to create my own word, invent my own word, and start my own movement to where these globies can't fuck with it because it's going to be something that they can't even fucking linguistically handle or
Well, it doesn't stop him, in case you were wondering.
do it.
Awesome, dude.
That's my whole philosophy. That's the whole motivation behind the movement. And it all started with a psychedelic experience, which gave me inspiration to create the movement.
Is he popping in and out for you guys?
Yeah, you're breaking up there, man.
So my bad. I appreciate you guys having me on here. This is next level, man. We're moving up.
Pretty cool. Now, for a second there, I thought you were going to tell us that you were going to move into the venturing into flat Earth porn or something. You're going to produce that way, but like, whew, just clutched it back at the end there. That's the way to go. Right on.
Because I had this inspiration because I mean you see that OnlyFans shit everywhere, and I got sick of it, and so it was like I want to do that, but I want to do it in the context that I want to do it, and I never seen anybody doing it, and so everyone's always my entire life I've always heard, well, if you don't see anybody do it, you just might as well just do it yourself. So I just said fuck it.
Hell
when
yeah.
when I came down from that psychedelic trip, like I seriously had this connection with a higher divinity, and it just told me to just do it. It just said fuck it.
Nice, man. So wait, you're relatively new then, starting a channel.
So correct. So this all happened. It's been happening so fast. Like that experience happened when we were all on lockdown in 2020.
Oh, nice. You're about the same time as me.
Right. So and it all happened so fast, but it's nothing that I can't handle. And that psychedelic experience kind of like it set me up because it got me ready for everything else that was coming my way, the truth that was just flooding around because everyone's talking about it. It's the age of awakening. We're here. It's the
Yep.
it's either you get with the program.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, there's some static. Sorry guys. So I appreciate you having me here. Like I'm hungry. Like I really don't care what the globetards have to say. What I'm going to stop me.
I can't. You can be fading in and out, but I'm glad to finally talk to you, man, because I've been stealing your content for a while and putting it on Twitter and being like, go follow this dude on TikTok, but nobody cares about TikTok is the thing. So nobody's going to go from one platform to another. So now that I found you on here, we can just do that, and that'll be way more advantageous.
Let me connect. Hold on. I'm going to leave and then come back. I'm going to connect my Bluetooth. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we got to leave and connect like every 20 minutes on Twitter. That's just how it rolls. Who we got? We got Indio in here. Do we not give Indio a mic? Indio wants a mic. Indio always wants a mic. Well, I always want Indio to have a mic. Moreover,
who doesn't want a mic?
I've sent him 3 mics. I don't know if it went through or not, but you can. I mean, you're welcome to send it.
Dude, I couldn't use the Twitter app, so I'm using the webpage version because the app was just like, no microphone today. You have none.
Can't have.
Also, are we lacking a purple pill again? Just because?
Indeed.
Is it only when I make it do we get all three of those things?
I think so. I think I had it.
Who's berating me? Is
Whoa,
that
yeah,
Corpus?
that's rough.
Okay, I'm back now.
Corpus
Testing.
Welcome back.
sounds good, I think.
All right,
Yeah,
now
you're
we're
solid.
There we go.
reasonable.
Okay, so how often do you guys usually how often are you guys usually meeting here on Twitter or
To be
X?
honest, when I first reached out, I wanted to bring you to Flat Earth Friday, which is usually on Friday, but now is in an undisclosed temporary hiatus until whenever. So we have this on Thursdays, which we're doing ourselves, but eventually it'll be the big group on Flat Earth Friday.
Understandable. Totally understandable. So Thursdays and Fridays typically?
Yeah, or will we continue our Thursday thing when Friday starts? I don't
No,
know.
yeah,
Maybe.
Thursdays.
Yeah,
Not all of
definitely.
us do Fridays, and we
Ah.
definitely Aether Cosmology every Thursday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, so it'll be a new schedule.
This is amazing. It's a pleasure to meet all you guys. I'm from Michigan and Detroit. Where are you guys from?
All
Michigan
over. I'm
East
as
from
Coast
well.
as
I've
Northeast.
well.
lived all
Yep.
over, but yeah,
Dude, I'm the
raised
sole Flat
Detroit
Earther in
area.
Providence. Dave's blue dot shows me as my singular self.
I live in Uruguay, but I was born in Vancouver.
Interesting. Okay. Nice. Yeah, see, I was born and raised here my whole life. Like I've never really traveled anywhere, and so I'm kind of like this is just my first experience kind of branching out. So it's really interesting
Nice.
to meet the new people and the experience, and it's
Honestly,
really,
dude, I heard you talking about the Black Sun and Star Trails, and I was like, "Get that bro over here. Hold on a second. We need
Yeah.
nobody talks about that but us. Anyone who does, bring them on over here."
Yeah. I appreciate it so much. It needs to be out there, man. Like, because I did this one video. Like, I don't know if you guys went to go watch the solar eclipse on the April 8th, but I went to go watch it on the 8th. And I know there's that whole talk about the whole fake sun and all that, but I got my own independent footage of that solar eclipse, and I got footage of that eclipse to where the moon is not eclipsing that sun. The way that those celestial bodies are moving and the footage that I got, that is not the moon eclipsing the sun. And if people would just go out and just look at the fucking celestial bodies themselves, they could confirm this themselves if they would just. But people are just can't swallow their pride, and they're too in love with their egotistical and
Yeah, but it
egomaniacal ways.
takes so long. And this happens really late at night. You could be Netflixing or something.
I could be
Right.
consuming propaganda. Why would I want to go learn?
That's facts.
Yo, but you have pictures of that? You should probably. Did you have a video that I can look at for that? Because the
I
eclipse
do
was
have a compilation time lapse video. Let me. I think it's on my phone here. I could probably post it in the comments.
Yeah, throw it on Twitter. We'll share it here. But like
Yeah.
2 months before that, someone on Twitter made me irritated. So I spent like 30 hours learning about eclipses to put together the presentation that would explain through a geocentric perspective exactly how and why that happens and what the cycles are and what 651 year cycle means. And it was like, oh, all thanks to Twitter. I did a lot of learning. Thanks, Twitter.
And honestly, like nowadays, like because we're in such a time frame window where we're all on edge of our seats when it comes to like learning, and we want to know the truth. Since we're all on that frequency, then you don't really have to go far. It's basically about who you know and the quality of that individual's experience, who, if they can provide you with the right, genuine, authentic information, and that it would be the truth. But it just so happens that it's either somebody is either not on board with the get along, or they're either going the opposite direction. And like we have, and like it's important to get these circles right here, these groups of people, to where we share the positive end of the spectrum. You know, it's building that fire, that flame. It's building that center vortex.
You don't have a circle, do you? You don't have a truther crew, man.
Right, right, true. Because
Oh yeah, you're gonna need one
see,
of those. You're gonna need to you need to be reinforced constantly, but by getting rid of the retardation that you catch when you're talking to Glovers too long, you gotta chat with the boys and bring it down to reality and shake it off so you can get back in it later. Otherwise, man, you just get lost.
yes, I need it. Yeah, I need it, bro. This is my first time. I've been like for 2 years straight.
I've
I've just
told
been
everyone that.
battling and
And I can
challenging
feel
and
it. I can hear it. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm the truth. This guy's where have you been? Hey, what's going on?"
Dude, I had a similar experience when I got brought into Discord to meet you all. I was like,
Exactly, dude. We
oh,
all have that.
I was like, oh, this is where people go to congregate to talk about things when there's no one else to listen, that could hear it.
Right when you're not on stream or whatever, put it on
Facts.
public face. This is where the boys get down to figure the stuff out. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so do you want because now I did the video was on Rahu and Ketu, and I did an explanation video where I explain my footage, and then I have like the short 3-minute video where it's the time lapse footage of the eclipse. Which one did you want?
Time lapse.
The time lapse? Okay, let me find it. There we go. Because I was posting it the other day.
You don't do all your stuff from your phone, do you?
I did. The eclipse was
You're
off
one
my
of
phone.
those. Oh man.
So I have a telescope, but I actually bought a special clip that connected to the telescope to where it would have suction cups, and my phone would suction cup to the clip, and it would be sturdy on the telescope. And it had like a little circle to where it would zoom, and like a little lens to where it would
Lens
focus.
adapter. Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah. So it's legitimate quality. If I can just find where the fuck I put it, I think you'll be impressed with just from being from a phone and a telescope. What did I do? Give me a sec, guys.
No worries, man. We got. Did we want to do tides? We want to do tides later. We already seem to be on eclipses.
Yeah, we could circle back to the tide thing.
I kind of want to see a real time lapse of not the moon eclipsing the sun.
Yes, I want to show it to you guys. Hold on, I'm gonna hook up my external drive here. I want to show you guys. Get this going.
Yeah, man, the Truther Circle is pivotal. I remember feeling the same way when I got here too. It was like, oh, I don't have to do everything alone. I can take some of this weight off my shoulders. Oh, great.
It's such a relief, and honestly, like, cause I was ready, like to just fucking cold turkey. Just like I was like, no one's gonna help
Take
me.
them
Like,
all on yourself. Do it all.
yeah,
Nice.
cause I had that Pisces mentality, and so, but I mean, it was moving that direction. People started finding my profile eventually, and so I'm like, oh, this is a lot better. When people actually agree.
Yeah, but you got to combat like not only are you telling the truth in a way that's cohesive and people are sharing it, but like you're battling an algorithmic suppression that will shadow ban you 90% across most platforms. So really, like what you're dealing with and what you're reacting to and what you're seeing is like a 10% of the 90% throttling of all your activity, and it's rough.
And that's on a good
Facts.
day. Yeah,
Facts.
totally.
Like everything you do is 90% throttled everywhere you go. It's tough. It's like how do you know that? Start a channel everywhere. Watch. You can pinpoint when you're like, oh, there's the thumb. I feel it. Or like when you're like, all right, in a platform that has 30,000 viewers or a platform that has 30 billion users, how come the ones with 30,000 I have way more activity? Do we get Liliana on mic? Dude, my thing already is definitely not working.
Dude, I tried to give Liliana a mic. I'll try. I'll give it a second shot.
Don't forget to
Come
try
on,
reloading the
Elon.
space. If you didn't try that already.
What's that, Meow?
If you open the space in another tab and then close this tab.
Oh yeah.
Reconnect to the
Yeah,
space.
I did that earlier. Everything seems to be in working order.
Oh, good.
Hello.
Hey, see, the phone works, guys.
Yo, hey, yo, hey.
Liliana?
Hi.
Nice.
There you are. I just saw that you tagged me on something, but it's 17 minutes long, and I didn't see it until I was just logging into here. So I will get back to you, Lily, probably on my own channels. And now that you're in there, because this is going to be a long answer.
Okay, I found the video. I'm about to post it in here real quick.
Do you know how to do that?
I think because I'm connected in Spaces on my phone, and then I got my laptop here that let's see if I think it'll let me
So
do
once you
this.
post it to Twitter, you just do like the share thing, and then you'll have an extra option, share to space, that you can only do when you're a speaker, like right now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, this is different. I've never done this before. Give me a
We have
second.
a comment thing where we can appeal and write things that we can all reference, but that didn't happen this time. So we're kind of winging it.
So I should post it and then share it in the space, right?
Yeah, post it like regularly, and then share it with the button, but it'll be share to space, which will put it up there.
Okay, got you guys. Got you. Let me take that. Yeah, because I have the basic account where
Oh, you're not
it.
show status yet? I'm sorry then. I don't know if we can.
Well, I mean,
Not to get
I can only post like short videos.
Yeah.
not to get too meta about it, guys, but that's something you should actually post in the purple pill is a screenshot of how to do that.
Yeah, but we don't have a purple pill, so.
Well, you got it going on right up top now, so just do one of them.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Can I share the screenshot of how to share a screenshot? Here we go. Perfect. Nailed it.
I love it when we take the systemic approach. Yes.
So smart. So many good ideas. So who else is wasting all their time reading Glober comments today? Is it just me?
Yep.
Not I, said the man who smiled.
Good.
Just
Oh,
your
I've been
dog.
reading them all day, man. Freaking that one video I posted the other day. Everyone's been sharing it. Freaking the Globers just go
Well,
on and
dude,
on, dude. It's just
Globers
fucking.
have nothing to say about Black Sun. Like that Black Sun video they commented on, I was like, oh, I'm so not interested in your take on any of this. This isn't for
Oh
you,
my
bro.
god! All they say, they don't have nothing legitimate. All they say is, "Oh my god, I can't believe you believe this crap," and they just resort
Yeah,
to
no, they don't understand.
logical fallacies, and
What?
like it just doesn't
No.
make
The only
it don't
thing they
make sense.
do? I don't know if you've noticed, but like the caliber of Glober on X is particularly low. Like we'll have the same 7 things, they'll just repeat on all. So like when I said who's reading Glober comments, everybody laughed at me. That's because they know it's a waste of time and you'll never gain anything or glean anything intelligent. And I was the only douchebag wasting my time, which is good. Wouldn't want more than one of us doing that.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's
Did
like
you post that video or?
I am working on it. I'm slowly working on it. I got you.
Gotcha.
I'm still new at this. Please forgive me.
we figured out how to retweet the space though, so that was cool.
I did retweet. Yes, I did retweet. I'm having a little issues with my phone because I have so much on my phone. It's like overloaded with videos.
I
So
imagine you phone
yeah,
warriors are like that. I don't know how you do that.
freaking. So I have to. Oh, there we go. Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, the phone lads are off the chart, dude.
Like effort.
I have to trim it.
So much effort. Oh man, we already lost Dave. He was like, nah.
With such stunning dialogue and banter, I'm shocked.
Just wanted to say that this brother Corpus Hermeticus, I don't know if I
Hello.
said that right.
Hello.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to say that just hearing what you had to say, I was like, oh, we should officially welcome him into our little family here.
Oh,
Our,
thank you.
Nice.
I
yeah,
appreciate it.
you fit right in, so welcome.
What is your name? Or how do you what do you go by?
Sorry, sorry, I'm Liliana.
Liliana, it's a pleasure. I appreciate the
Hi,
comment.
Lily.
It means a lot.
She's
Well,
like
they also call me Laylee and Lily and whatever. Just call me whatever.
Okay.
she's like everyone's heart or something. What do I call her? Something
I
like
think
that.
the ambassador of flat Earth, I think is what you call her.
Gotta give her a title.
Yeah. We have a mayor and we have an ambassador now, dude. We're growing,
Ambassador.
boys.
So then what's Dave? Oh, Dave's the
Wait,
Congrats
who's
on
the
the come up.
ambassador?
The cabinet is
You.
slowly forming.
Oh no, I thought you said Corpus Hermeticus is the.
Well, we don't know enough about him to judge him and give him a role yet.
Oh,
Yes, no titles. I just my title is Spirit.
oh, nice, nice.
But we can
I'm
judge you, Liliana, and you are now
Yeah, I just want
ambassador.
to
so-
say to my
Oh
listeners,
well,
I apologize. I
that's
had the same audio issue
yeah,
again.
wow,
So
what an
it's fixed now.
honor. Thank you. I'll try to live up to it. I'll try to be a really worthy ambassador.
Just keep doing what you're doing, and you got it in the bag. You are
Perfect.
up for re-election in 6 months, though. So we'll see how that turns. We'll see how that turns out.
Oh God, I better start campaigning, eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the sooner the
all
better,
the
really.
well,
The sooner
actually,
the better.
we vote in Glober tiers. So how many Globers you make cry is how likely your chances of staying.
I think Alan's just a little bit perverted. He wants to make sure that everybody's seat is up for grabs every 6 months at least.
Yeah,
No complacency here.
there'll be healthful competition or whatever, and everyone will compete, and it'll be fair. No one will be bribing me, giving
That's
me
fair.
money to give appointments to positions or anything like that. So it'll all work out.
And how many of these people just missed the pun? Ah, it's such a joy.
Corpus, you gotta mute when you're not talking, otherwise it fills my head with white noise.
Oh, real. Thank you for the tip.
Shane is afflicted.
Much better. Breathe. Whew.
Nice.
Right, I was just like I was holding tension while I was hearing that, and I couldn't help it.
My bad, guys. I'm loading up the video now. Just give me a sec.
You got it.
Nice. You're
Roger, Houston.
We got random people requesting. Are we just approving randos? You think we're taking chances?
good. Absolutely, dude. I'm rolling the
Okay.
dice, bro.
All right.
Anyone that wants to come up,
Oh,
dog,
for
you
sure.
request,
Yeah,
you
For
get
sure.
mic'd.
It's boring otherwise.
That's hella cool. You put them right up your ass, back down, turn right up.
That's why I deal with all these globe trolls all the time and don't block them, so we can have them come up here and have
Well, no, it won't-
have a less
Thank
of
you,
an echo
Steve.
chambery convo.
So
It won't
this
be
is the
the
way I
Still
see
to
it.
respect my
With
authority.
the Globetrotters commenting, someone said something very wise to me. Even though they say like the most idiotic things, they do when they comment, they do help move the algorithm around. So that's why I do let them comment, and I even say that I'm like I don't mind you
All right, one
guys
second. I'm gonna try
commenting,
and fix this real quick.
but like if it gets too out of hand, I'm gonna
Gain,
block
let's
them.
set it to 3.
What are you doing?
All right, testing 1, 2. Better
Who
or
are you-
worse, lads? Let me know.
I
in
can
the
hear
chat.
you.
Are you testing?
Can you hear Corpus?
To the stream or to your stream?
I think it sounds better.
Oops, sorry, that was supposed to be muted. My bad.
Yeah, I feel like you were talking right to your stream, not to us.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, I apologize. I didn't realize.
So I identified that. So you said about the comments driving the algorithm, like even allowing trolls to add their troll turds to it makes it better for everyone?
Oh, that's right. I was saying, yeah, because like some you get some globies that will just come in and then leave, and then you've got the reoccurring ones that love to like troll. So, and I'll let them know, like when they comment, I'll be like, I don't mind you guys commenting because it helps move the algorithm around. But I don't tell them that, but I know that. But if they get too like obnoxious, then I do end up eventually blocking them. But like
Yeah.
I'll let them like because other people will comment, like other like third parties will comment with that Globy and they'll go back and forth, and I'll
Yeah.
let that go on.
Yeah, that's
And
the point, right? We leave it open so like a neutral observer, say, may find the the corpse and then
yes,
pursue the truth through the decimated corpses of Globy comments on either side or whatever.
Yes.
However you do it.
You gotta shift through the battlefield to find the truth there.
Yep. Yeah. But like, so we don't block them because we let them in here. But the thing is, nobody who comments on our shit will ever come in here and talk to us point blank about anything. They're like, oh, it's terrifying or something or scary or
Well, we
I'm
get them every now
sensing
and then.
a pattern.
We had one. We usually get one or two a week. No, we get one
Dude,
or
we
two a
had
week.
we had Swalla, and then apparently,
I
you
like
know how he
Swallow.
was. Yeah, but didn't he like go back on everything he said and just acted the same after
Of
that?
course, he is a
Pretty much,
Glober.
yeah.
Like, guys, when you're trying to like Globers, right? They're not going to not be Globers or exhibit not
Dude,
Globe
I-
qualities.
Dude, he came in. He was super chill. I was like, "Oh, this dude ain't bad." Then he was the same.
I
Unlucky.
gave him that meme, that sunset meme. He's like, "This is the globe," and I'm like, "No, it shows both how they're equal." He's like, "I love it." I'm like, "Well, you can have it, champ." And he was like, "Oh, thanks to Shane, I'm gonna prove the globe." And he kept posting it. I'm like, "Bro, I was already posting that. What makes you think?" Yeah, man, you got it. You know, like, you got it.
You got it. Have fun.
But yeah, dude, I like that dude because he can have a conversation. And just because he goes back on everything that we make him admit when we're actually talking to him doesn't mean I don't like him. Like, he can still come back and pretend that didn't happen, and we can convince him again.
Oh, that makes me not like people.
Yeah, well, again, they're
I'm like,
global.
I'm like,
Like,
I'm
you
like,
can
I
like
think
them.
less of you now.
When you
okay, I
like them,
just posted the first one. Part 1 of the time lapse is in the comment. Well, I posted the link to that video. I'm gonna post the second one because I gotta chop it up.
I already went in and shared it to space. I was like, okay, I got it. Nice. Oh, you did like an X-ray move around thing. That's actually dope.
I will be right back. I'm gonna load the next one.
Wow, did you guys see this?
No, I'm watching it now. What do you mean? Do you guys see this?
Like,
Bro, he
like
just
I've
uploaded
never.
it 13
All
seconds
right,
ago.
I've never seen anyone do that.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you. I have the telescope, and then like I was saying, I have my phone. There's a little contraption. It's like a suction cup device that connects to the telescope, and then suction cups my phone to the platform and allows it to lay on the telescope. And then I have a carbon polymer filter on the telescope, and there's one on right in front of the phone camera, the front-facing phone camera. So double carbon polymer filtering that allowed me to capture that shot.
Nice.
I
That's
got you. I
awesome,
see
man.
the frame with your camera setup and everything in there, right?
And I will be right back. I'm going to load up the next one.
So the one thing that I keep striking me that I always forget about is the just amount of red and orange. Why is it so red and orange, guys? Is it the Mars dust getting in the way, or what? Like, why is every solar eclipse red and orange? Like, that's something I looked into and had no answer for, right? It was just like, here's some things that heliocentrists say to console themselves, and the truth is, who knows? And it's like, what? Yeah, why is it always red and orange? Every solar eclipse. But yeah, this particular one, I was pretending to predict eclipses back in the day 2 months ago, and then I just would use the whole good Fred Espenac data set, pivot table it out, spin it up, project it back to the eighth, grab a couple of the attributes, spread them out, do some polynomials, get some some extrapolation and interpolation to get the Venusian elements, to get the solar eclipse, to get the path, to put on the AE, and then be like, look, we're predicting eclipses. And they were like, no, you're stealing. And it's like, no, nobody predicts eclipses. It's the whole point. My
You
God.
stole this, dude. You plagiarized poor Walter Bislin's Creative Commons licensed software. Then you stole the sky, bro.
Stole all
What?
of NASA's observations of the sky, I guess, is what they said.
Only globies are allowed to do that.
It's like, you guys are so hopeless. I just wanted to prove the heliocentric, geocentric, kinematic, dynamic equivalence. right? And you guys were like, "Meow." And I was like, fine, hold my beer. Look, you see this? And they were like, you stole it. I was like, oh no, what do I do? Where do I go from here? But anyway, yeah, that solar eclipse, once they had to adjust their predicted path because their Brazilian elements grew stale, and they had to recalculate.
Oh, that's the worst when your Basalian elements get stale.
Yeah, man, you got to keep calculating them.
Okay, I'm loading up the second video. I'm probably gonna have to chop it up into three, maybe 4 parts.
You remember when Witsit used that in a debate and was like, "Oh, they changed the path," and McToon like went purple faced like a plum and started shouting about, "You changed my book! You can't change my book! The book is It was like, oh,
You
Nothing
lying
in this
piece of
book
garbage.
changed.
So funny.
you're so vitriol, angry and upset.
You just extra coming out. It's orange hairs. Oh my
Wow,
god.
that's a pretty good
Dude,
imitation. He was that
where
upset.
where'd Stone go? How did Toon get a mic?
Right?
What the hell? All right, dude. So
Nice. Yeah, that X-ray reverse stuff was kind of the best evidence I've ever seen that it's not the moon. I love it. It's how you know it's the moon. That one picture they were able to scrape together that shows it's the moon, but then nobody could ever corroborate it or take it again. That's how you know it's
yeah,
true.
I'm playing the video here. What are we looking at? Walk me through
Lots
it.
of sun.
Like I'm a blind man.
Are you watching the video that I shared?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this was April 8th, the total solar eclipse. This is my independent footage. Well, I just went out with just a couple of my friends because I'm here on the Detroit River. I live just by the Detroit River, so I literally just went to the water. I didn't have to go anywhere. Everyone made this big commotion about going to certain places to watch it. And once you know the geocentric model, it's like any other time of the day. It's going to be in the top of the sky at your zenith. And so I just went out with the regular telescope and just started recording like in the public in the middle of the day. Like I wish people would just go out and do this, and that's my whole channel is going to be about, because I'm currently documenting the analema. I'm going out for the whole year and I'm getting footages of the sun and moon, and then I'm posting it, compiling throughout the year, showing the different positions when they come into my view on the horizon when I'm looking on the Detroit River. So I'm going to be getting those on video and then showing the different incidences when it rises up, the different angles of incidence on the ascension and then the declination. And then I'm going to put that all in one video and then show the analema, show that the sun and the moon are basically wobbling back and forth all the time.
Nice. We may have some suggestions on that topic in just a second.
Which
Okay.
which noon are you shooting?
Pardon me?
Which noon are you shooting?
I don't think I understand what you're asking.
Well, there's UTC noon, there's longitudinal noon, there's your actual astral solar, average noon time. Where are you building your analema? At what, you know what I mean? Which north, or which
Well,
south for you, so to speak?
Well, actually, I don't think I've actually been incorporating that. What I've been doing is I've been mainly following the moon because the moon moves really, really, really fast. She's only in each zodiac sign for 2 to 3 days. And so when she's moving, if I want to get good footage of her, sometimes I have to go out at 3 in the morning to get a good shot. And it's I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress.
And what the moon is?
Was that a critique, a question, suggestion, an agreement?
No, it's a greedy question because I've been paying attention to what Flat Earthers has to say. I'm pretty convinced by this far, but the point that they got my attention is what they say about the sun being local. This is something I believe since say 1996. I know that the sun is close, but yeah, about all the things they explained, and I agree with things that they're saying.
Are you feeding your
Yo,
Something
fishes,
Corpus,
bro?
you're hot, Megan.
for
Oh
me,
shit.
something is off when all the explanation that I've been seeing about the moon, the equation is not closing. I still, for me, it's easier to believe the moon is a hologram than it is some kind of a lamp roaming around just like the sun is because of the craters. So if someone, if I think it's easy to prove the Earth is a globe if we have a picture of someone from Canada or Finland or Sweden photographing the moon and compare to someone in South Africa or in Australia, because the moon would be upside down in when compared the pictures. But the thing is, if the moon is a sphere passing through us, we, and even if they had this face, only one face facing us here on Earth, we are not supposed to see the same craters when the moon is rising. The moon is our perpendicular position, like in the midnight at the full moon days, and when the moon is setting on the horizon we would perceive different craters in these moments. So for me, everything they're explaining about the moon, I'm not buying it. I'm not sure if anything that here is right. So it was not a critique. It's a honest question. What
Yep.
is the moon?
I was gonna
I
say, what do you
agree.
guys think? Sounded
Bravo.
honest to me, man. To be honest.
Bravo. Yeah,
I
the
think Xavier
moon.
said it best with the hand clap.
You're
What
right,
is-
brother. That moon is hologrammatic, and from what I have been researching, those craters are a reflection of the land masses on Earth.
Ooh, we have a moon mapper.
Cannot be a reflection. Just pretend the moon would be a like a, what's the name of that in English? A ball bearing. Imagine if it is a steel polished chrome ball. It is roaming. It could simply could not be a reflection of our lands down here, because it would be somehow it's also change the craters at each passing moment it is passing above our heads, and the lower part of it would look bigger than the further part of us, especially in the horizon. It would look perfectly like our map at noon position, but in the on the horizon we will always perceive it as if it is in a nova, like a smile on the space. So it cannot be a reflection as well. So I'm still not convinced. For me, moon is a very, very big mystery. Oh, and not to forget, there is an
Agreed.
there is an ancient people in Greek area that they claim to be the people before the moon, because their ancestors
Yeah, I heard that.
witnesses the moon appear or being built somehow. So
Yeah,
the
what do
moon
we
is
what
not
do we think
always.
about
Dude,
that? What do we
the
think about
lads
the
before the
pre-moon
moon.
lads? Yeah, dude, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like I've definitely heard that.
So check it out. I was asking 40 about that, but on a Flat Earth Friday, but he never got back to it. Got a little sidetracked or whatever, because he's always talking about that. But yeah, so the Native Americans in America, I forget which tribes or what have you, but they have stories about a time before the moon, and then basically they say that there was like a big fight in the sky between a serpent and a giant bird, and the outcome was the moon. And then there's a in Australia there's Aborigines people, and they have a very similar story about a time before the moon, and then a fight in the sky between giant deities, and then boom, the moon next day. And yeah, Crow 777 did a breakdown on that. I'll have to look further into it. It always kind of stuck in the back of my mind, because it is a fascinating story, and it's like, how do we have the same story from like these cultures that have no way to communicate with one another. So
Very interesting. Very
See,
interesting.
It is interesting, but I don't understand how that could be possible, right? Because it's the same explanation with the cataclysm of the sun to set it on its path, migrating from tropic to tropic. It would insinuate that upon creation, right, then we had one path of the sun just at the equator, meaning permafrost around the north and the south, and it would never get cool, never transit, never change seasons, never have a dynamic interaction of the sun and the moon, which is the catalyst for the cause of every system on Earth. So I have a little bit of trouble imagining that.
No, I feel you, but also time before the moon, dog.
It's definitely a thing or a rumor, at least. I've heard it.
just canonized it, dog. So you have to deal with
Crap.
it now.
We talked about it, so now it's real.
I'm gonna post the second clip here in a couple seconds.
Yeah, I'm stealing all these in case you weren't.
Yeah,
aware.
take them. Yep.
Okay.
I made this post on Facebook today. I literally made this Facebook post. I said, "What's my?" I told everyone. I was like, "What I make." I was like, "You guys can take it. I don't care. Like, just I wish they would take it and post it." Like,
Yeah, that's the mark of a true truther, right? My
Because
stuff is for the
fellow-
truth.
I
Fellow
always feel
Creative
like
Commons lad.
you can only keep what you have by giving it away.
Well, I mean, I started from being a douchebag and internet, right? Like, if it's on the internet, it's mine. I can take it, right? That was my starting mentality. But now it's like, well, truth should be shared.
I've never got rich by throwing money away. But
Nah,
yeah,
dude,
it's a
Well,
good
there's exceptions. There are
The
exceptions.
stuff,
I'm talking
the stuff
about
that
like
I post, I dare you to post the stuff that I post. You know what I mean? I
Like-
freaking dare you to repost it. Go ahead.
Well,
Make
whenever
my
I
day.
kick my girlfriend, it doesn't appear 8 other new girlfriends to me. But
Wait,
yeah, I'll
what?
keep
What
on
did you
trying.
say?
About to receive is to giving away. I never get rich by throwing money away, and I never got 5 or 8 girlfriends by kicking one away. But yeah, I'll keep on trying. Who knows? One day it eventually happens.
I'm lost.
I'm just teasing, man. Sorry, never
He's a
mind.
cynic.
Uh,
Yeah,
He's
you're
a
good.
pure-
I
You're
know,
good.
but
It's
I
just-
didn't.
There
I
is
didn't
a
get
guy
the
in the
joke.
room called my young Carl Williams. He has his hand up for a long time now.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh,
Thank you
okay.
for reining us in. Yo, my young, whatever that guy said your name was. What's up, bro? Your hands up. You can speak freely now.
Hello.
Welcome.
What up, big dog?
I have a question about the moon.
Great.
Okay, so one night the moon was rising in the horizon and it looked bigger in the horizon, but when it got to like above my head, it looked so small. Why was that?
Can I
Ooh,
answer that?
supermoon? Sure, bro.
Okay, so I've been making videos on this, and this goes back to what I was explaining about the analemma. Okay, so when that moon is in the top portion of the ecliptic, when it's in the Tropic of Cancer or Gemini, it's going to be when it comes to your zenith, it's going to be like above you. It's going to be like smaller looking, but it's going to be right above you because it's in your proximity. But then and I'm trying to depict this on videos, and then like when the moon in a couple of days it'll move out towards the outside, towards the southern portion of the plane. It'll be farther away from you, but it will be like exploded view because it's out there on the dome. It's way farther out southern, so you have to look like to the southeast when it's rising, and it'll be like oval shaped. It'll be more like expanded when it's out in the southern portion, and then when it comes back to the northern portion, it's very small, but it looks farther away. It's like way up there, right above you. You look straight up above you.
Are you talking annual change versus daily change? I think he's talking about a daily when it rises.
Daily,
and then,
yeah,
okay.
daily, because the moon is moving really, really fast, really, really fast.
Yeah, it does. If you mentioned it before, it does what the sun does in a year and a month, right? So it does like an expedited
Wait a
sort of
minute.
track. But
If
we're
we
talking,
Well, yo, hey, real quick to get back to that guy's question.
atmospheric cleansing.
If you look in the Jumbotron, I threw a thing in there. Like even NASA talks about that, and about or like though they used to. Now they've taken it down. But if you go to the web archive there, they have a picture there showing the apparent moon and the true moon. They talk about how it being like kind of an optical illusion. But then also I think it has a lot to do with just the nature of the sky and the way that the magnification of the sky causes effects.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is more pronounced on the horizon than it is at your zenith. Exactly what we're talking about here, right? That's why you get amplification when it rises and sets. That's why you get things like the green flash when the sun appears to set, because you have atmospheric deck being the most opaque, close to the horizon, being least distinguishable there, and becoming conversely most clear when it's right at your zenith above you. And I think the corresponding cell nav correction tables would also yield that same threshold.
I thought the oval
Wait,
effect
what about
would
Selnav?
be the
You know,
opposite.
you know how CellNet has to correct between lower angles and higher angles because you can't use them based on the logarithmic type and they restrict you to the linear portion of that. Well, yeah. So at the horizon, it's most messed with, so they have the biggest corrections, right at the horizon line.
Yeah.
I have another explanation for that. I think when the moon is on the horizon, we have objects nearby that we can compare, like a building, a church, a house, a tree, and it looks huge when we have objects to compare. And when it is above our heads, we have nothing around it to compare.
That's
It's
a
just
good
like when we
point.
see a
That's a good
picture
point, but that's not.
when we see a picture of a very tall person on the beach, it's nothing to us. But when we see a very tall person nearby a door, we say, "Oh, that's the size of this guy near that door. This person is a giant," because we have objects to compare. The reason why I say this is because I've seen sometime a very big moon when I was in the beginning of my neighborhood here, and I decided to go up there because my neighborhood stands nearby a field of sugarcane. Okay, so I went far the end of the
I am
neighborhood to
jealous,
see
by the
there
way. I'm
because there we don't
jealous,
have
by the way.
artificial lights. But so when I got there, 5 minutes later, the moon was still on the horizon. The moon seems to be shrunk. So I got to this. Oh, it was because when I was in the beginning of the neighborhood, I had buildings on the horizon that gave me the impression the moon was huge. So this is what I think because the oval shape due to velocity, I think would have the opposite effect because she would look bigger, like being faster above our heads and looking like coming slower when they are on the horizons. Just like when we are stopping by the road and witnessing a car passing by in the constant and linear speed or velocity by us.
Sure.
Near
Sure.
distance, it looks low. Right behind, right on our sides, would be look like a big and very fast object passing by.
I like your
A
thinking,
star
man.
doesn't look huge on the horizon.
Shelf of insanity. I like your thinking, bro. Man.
Well, it might not be an illusion because I think was it Dave Weiss? Yeah, it was definitely Dave Weiss. I wanted to ask him last time he came up on the panel, but I just completely forgot. He says one time that on a full moon, if you ever get a full moon night and you turn your back to the moon and you look at the moon between your legs, I promise you, he said this. If you look at the moon between your legs, that the angular size changes a lot.
He
And I should
did.
have asked him, does that work with your camera too? Because that's cool evidence. If it's an optical effect where the actual angular size dramatically decreased, if you're looking at it between your legs, that's some evidence that you could capture on camera. Or he was drunk. I wanted to ask him, were you drinking before you did that day?
That was amazing, wasn't it? I remember.
I
Oh man.
I remember he did say that, and I don't know if he did mention anything about the fact of whether it differentiates whether how it looks the same on the phone or not. I think it's just based on your perception, because when you're upside down like that, I think it causes that effect. But it'd be worth a try. It's definitely worth a shot.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm posting the final clip.
Do so. Do we know what the moon is? No. But I think we know how we see it, how we perceive it, where it's most affected by atmospheric lensing, where it's most opaque, where it's least opaque, where it's least apparent. But we all know, including NASA, that we never actually see its let's call it the triangulated position. We only ever see its apparent position, and that's all we ever deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been like, it just started this year. I started literally watching the moon every single like half hour. Like when I'm home, I'll just go see where it's at and trying to like check it out like in the daytime. And I go out at 3 in the morning when I can't sleep just to go see it. Trying to get familiar with it because we've been familiar with the sun our whole life and our whole childhood. We kind of get propagandized into thinking that the moon is insignificant. But now that we're on the geocentric spectrum, everything is significant.
I'm still learning stuff about the moon all the time. Just the other day, I had to pull it up and go, does the moon do the exact path of the sun in a month? Oh, I'll be damned, it does. Look at that. Or the most famous one, is the NLM equal? Stone says that it is. Math says it is. Circular orbits say it is. Let me go look. Okay. Look at the equator. Gosh damn, look at that. That's perfectly symmetrical. And then, have you ever seen the moon's NLM?
Yeah, so that one is interesting. It pretty much stays like for the whole year. It has like almost the same circle almost. It takes
Well, it has
it
the same
takes
3 missing links, dude, which kind of wobulate through it, and it's the weirdest thing to look annually. It's just like the 3 missing links will circulate through through its line, and then it kind of oscillates through. It's the weirdest looking thing.
I have a time lapse of the moon. I'm gonna post that up right after I post this here as well. Over like a couple years from like 2020 to like 20 to like currently. And I think you guys will find it really interesting. Let me find it here. I will be right back.
User Layli Hannah with her hand up for a while, and now Justin Dow Dawn just lift his hand.
I'm in no rush to speak, so just let the other person go.
All right. So was that Justin? What up? You got your hand up?
How's everybody doing? Um,
Pretty good,
Doing
man. What's
good,
up?
brother. Good.
I came in on the space while everybody was talking about the moon, and um, I find it interesting that y'all mentioned tribes of people mentioning that there was no moon before. But have y'all ever heard of like the 28 days and 13 the 28 cycles and of the 13 months? Because if you sit there and you look at our calendar, which is the Gregorian calendar, um, October, which is octo, means eight, and it's actually what, the 10th month, which is supposed to be the 8th month. So we're actually missing a month. And
Two, actually. No, they switched it right up. You got it.
We
if
got
you
really
look at
hard.
the back of a turtle, it has the entire thing on it, the cycles and 13 months and all of that's found on the back of a turtle on a shell.
I did see that. I did see a couple of articles about that. That is interesting how the turtle's formation of their shell kind of simulates the calendar year, how it correlates.
I just find it interesting that y'all have found tribes of people around Earth that says that there was no moon at one time. So I'm definitely going to kind of look into that.
Yeah, same. Yeah, you don't really hear too many civilizations that come with that position.
And exactly, and especially whenever you got civilizations that have no communications, or that we know of, that had no communication back then. But at the same time, you can go and see stuff that's on the walls in the Aztec. I'm sorry, the Aztec temples that you could find in the ancient pyramids of Giza, and or the Sumerians or vice versa. There was some form of communication amongst the earth way back then, and who it was and how it was brought about, I'm still kind of curious to find out.
I don't know if I believe there was no moon. Just like the whole Iwaranon, there was a huge cataclysm before to press the sun in there, and that's why it's oscillating back and forth to get back to it. It's like, yeah, but that implies that, like, again, there was no seasons, no sun, no change, no dynamic system. So the people who live there, do they live on the equator, do you think?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those theories that I picked up and put down. Kind of like the moon being, an alien rock or a space base or whatever.
Sorry, I'm gonna rejoin the space here. My UI was bugged out there, so if you're listening, I'll be rejoining in just a moment. Let's see. Yeah.
But another thing, as far as like moon mapping goes, there's old German maps that sit there and talk about
Well, there's
lands.
one new one that some dude made on Telegram. I don't know if you're talking old. But my only point, sorry to interrupt, is that it's not new. Like, it wasn't. It is new. It's not old. It wasn't old, like an old map refound. It was some dude who literally created it recently.
Yeah, but there's also old Turkish maps and stuff that kind of depict the same idea too. That's from the 1400s.
Ooh, now those I would like to see.
I mean, it shows dry land around Antarctica and different kind of animals in green. And this was, I want to say, 1400s, 1300s, something like that.
Yeah, I have a lot of detail like that on the Urbano Monte maps that I keep on my channel. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, the last part is up, the last clip, and now I'm gonna find my Moon Analema time-lapse video for you guys. I think you'll really enjoy it. Give me 1 sec.
I just searched through my stuff. Yeah, I remember because that was right about when we came to Discord, and it was one of the cooler things we started talking to Witsit about. It was like, oh, this is a great map, and it was like, where did it come from? And we tracked it down. It was like, oh, some dude on Telegram.
I had to get out and come back, but I'm not sure if the guy, the David, or was still here. The guy who asked, yeah, Justin. Um, the reason why October is the day 10, and was supposed to be the day, the month 8, in fact, was actually because the year started in March. In zodiac, it's Aries sign. It's like, just like we have our clock with 12 positions, the noon, it's the up as a starting point, right? In the zodiac, the sign which is the start one is the Aries, the month of March. And some cultures and some cult, like a originated in the old ancient Egypt, they still celebrate the New Year's Eve on March. So if we count uh, September 7, October 8th, November 9th, and Novi in Latin or Portuguese, and December 10, like decimals, right? Um, the January will be 11, February will be 12, and one again in March.
I think I just put a video that either you need to see or you've already seen and got all that information from. It's from this one dude going back and being like, "There's 13 months because there's 13 constellations, 13 moon cycles," and they had it, renamed with the derivative of the word, meaning the actual numeral that it was associated with. And it took us so long to be like, "How come we're always two off from the like octave and octa8 should be?" Yeah, like that's because they had inverted it, and at one point it was all synonymous and made sense, right? And that's also to go back with the synodic month, lunar periodicity, how they would categorize that, how it changes, how the eclipse cycle works with the sun cycle, how all that like dynamic interaction kind of works. And that's how, historically, when they were switching from, say, lunar calendars to solar calendars to Gregorian to this to that to, daylight savings time, farmers time, this time, 12, 24-hour clock. It's the whole thing. The whole point of that is to confuse you with time so you don't know when the hell it is, so you don't know how long it's been. So they can insert things like evolution, dinosaurs, asteroids, billions of years for tiny little changes that have taken place to convince you that actually you were a retarded fish that came onto land and banged a monkey, and that's why you're real, right? It's like, well, none of that makes sense without slow, gradual change of billions of years. So this calendar thing is one of the many steps they did to obfuscate that because they can't move the sun or the moon themselves.
Don't forget how they introduced into society triskaidekaphobia, the specific fear of the number 13.
Ooh, stone. Wow, I didn't even think of that.
For the win.
As always.
Can Stone please repeat the name of the phobia? Please.
Yeah, it's called triskaidekaphobia.
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 Triskaidekaphobia. Okay, thanks.
Yes, comrade.
But yeah, that messing with time is like the biggest thing they do. They do it every which way they can, in any way they possibly can. The hour, the day, the clock, the numeral, like it's all about trying to mess with that because otherwise, how are they going to get you to believe you've been here bajillion 13.5 billion years on a speck of dust that slowly, through the process of accretion, collected other dust and used gravity to form a planet, to form other systems, to form a solar system, to orbit around the sun, to become a galaxy, to make a universe, to fart out space just to have a cosmic thing that made you. And it's like, yeah.
To quote Bill Nye, we're a speck in the middle of specklessness.
Yeah, but we can't leave the enclosed system.
Right?
That's right. There is nowhere to go.
Dude, isn't it funny the stuff they propagandize us with? Like, they talk so crazy, dude. A speck of nothingness in nothing.
You're literally
expanding into nothing.
Well,
Hey,
to be
guys,
to be
in case.
Oh,
Go
ahead.
I was going to say, in case anyone's wondering why the universe has to be expanding, if you've ever heard of Ubler's paradox, right? If the stars worked the way they said they would, the night sky would just be like an opaque
white thing,
gray.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. They're such jesters, bro. Like they got us, dude. And they're like, look, Hubble put his eyes to the telescope and he realized that everything. Yeah, dude, GTFO, man. How does he buy that stuff, dude? You guys couldn't handle Ubler's paradox, dog?
Man, I was already a devout atheist thinking I knew everything and was a smartass. So to be told that nothing mattered and I could fulfill my nihilist dream was like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do nothing. Nothing matters. Do what thou wilt.
Yeah, dude, triskaidekaphobia.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the fact that Shane has the incredible ability of speaking an entire chapter in one breath.
You're supposed to just call me Witzite with derisiveness and anger and move on.
He speaks extremely fast, several words without breathing.
Yeah, sorry.
Can I have the floor for a minute?
Don't need to be sorry. I think it's an incredible talent.
Cheers, bro.
I'm studying English for a long time now, and I simply can't get rid extremely of my all my accent, and to speak as fast as I speak in my natural language. I wish I could be a fast speaker.
Just watch Witzit for like a month. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and just keep speaking. Just keep speak to yourself.
I recommend that you try to impersonate other people you see on TV, because the more that you learn about how they produce the accent that they have, the stronger grip you're going to have on the language when you speak it.
From a resident linguistic expert.
Yes. The way it started with me, I started listening to Terrence McKenna, the psychedelic tempo knot, and I kind of took after him, and it inspired me to do psychedelics, and it took me on that journey, and it just was a stepping stone to the next stepping stone that God was moving me towards. Currently, it brought all the ideas into my mind that allowed me to manifest where I'm at right now. And I think it's
Nice.
the same thing for everyone. He sets us up, and he doesn't give us any more than what we can handle. But the choice is up to us.
So just before this download you had, which chemicals were involved?
Psilocybe cubensis.
What?
Oh, psilocybin cubensis. Gotcha.
And how do I get these?
How do I get?
Well, see what
No,
happens
seriously,
is a cow takes his shit.
I live
Go to your local cow pasture.
because I live here in Brazil, and ayahuasca, for example, is very popular around here. It's
And
not hard to
abundant.
find, but some other variations of that and shamans and things like that. I was supposed to move, or not to move, to travel to the same forest that Brazil share, the Amazonia, but to the Colombia part that they have shamans lá that they shamans there that they open to everybody in the world who wants to make some kind of a treatment there. And this week I've seen a lady. I think she's Australian. She traveled to Netherlands because in the Netherlands they have a spa with these magic mushrooms for as a treatment. So she went there to experiment that. So I'm asking about this psilocybin something like to try it because somewhere in this planet it is legal and people are making experiments of that. I don't will I'm not willing to buy with a drug dealer around here. I wish I could find somewhere that I could have some kind of a treatment or give it a try.
I
Dude, you need a homie.
recommend only one thing, and it is always make your own. That way you're sure what's going on.
Facts. That's facts. You can't trust people now, especially like with the marijuana. The government's getting involved. It's same thing with the food. You should just do it yourself. Honestly, it's just the best policy.
You need a proper separation flask. Once you got that, the other tools are easy to find, and treat it like gold because you probably need it again for someone else. You know what I mean? And yeah, make your own. Do the digging, get the right parts. Brazil's a big place. I'm sure you can order from some chemical supply. And yeah, do it right, man. Do it right.
Yo,
medical
speaking
advice.
of
Don't do
psilocybin
that.
or whatever, we got a resident
Unless
Globy here,
you know what you're doing.
DFL8, I think. You had your hand up. Are you the
Follow
person
your
that
own
That's
script.
asked
deflated.
if they could have the mic?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yes, and sorry, real
Yeah, so
quick.
how's
I'm
everybody
sorry.
doing in Flurfville?
What up?
That
You
video is
guys were
posted
talking
if you
about
guys
the
want to go
moon,
watch
so I
it.
got tipped. I had a question I was going to ask in the last Flat Earth Friday, but I didn't get a chance to chime in. So they claim the Foucault's pendulum, whatever they claim it does. I don't really understand it fully. But do they claim, so if the moon affects the tides, is there any mainstream claim that the moon affects the pendulum at any time? Or have they overlooked that? Because if it affects the
Well,
tides, it should affect the pendulum, correct?
yeah. Who wants that one? Anyone? Who likes tides?
It
Who is
sounded
that?
like you started answering.
Oh, it's me. Yeah, I love tides. That's right. I forgot. So,
I'm sorry. Did y'all get all that? My
yep.
question was,
Yeah,
does
Yep, got your question, dude.
okay, sorry.
Yep. Shane Tides Pierre is going to answer. Here you go, Shane.
Yeah, so he's like, do they have the pendulum affected in the same way as like the moon would be? No, that's because they have gravitational interference from the moon, which they pretend is equal to the centrifugal force, right? So they mathematically equate centrifugal acceleration to gravitational force. They take the mass in the sun, and they get the, from Newton's equation, which is what? G equals m1 over m2 over r squared. Get those relationships done. They get the periodicity. They get the distance. They mark it in. They fill it out.
My apologies.
They get
Stones
linear.
answer me. I don't hear anything, so I'll drop down and come back. I didn't hear anything response. Sorry.
Oh shoot!
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
no worries.
Yeah, Shane just put 200 words down. He'll definitely come back.
Yes.
My bad.
Shane was simply unloading the
Oh,
Wikipedia in one breath. And
Oh,
he
you won't
didn't
find that
listen.
on Wiki, homie. It's like I wish we could Google our answers, right? That'd be so much easier. But that's not our purpose.
curse Elon.
Yeah, we have to dig for our answers. That's the discipline that we have to come to terms with.
Right, we got to find out for ourselves, and then self-corroborate, and then independently corroborate, and then figure out if that's the truth, and then
I'm here for it. I'm so ready.
Meanwhile, everybody could also say hi to Jenny G, who's hiding in the corner down there. She might want a mic too. Want to get an
Hey,
update.
Jenny. Welcome. Hope all is well. Oh, and that's right, guys. That video is posted. The Moan Analema video is up if you guys want to watch it. I think you guys will enjoy.
For sure, man.
I also did prematurely bring in some title math before, which we double-checked with our resident globe debunker beforehand to make sure that we weren't saying anything that was, critiquable. But his main critique, as far as we could tell, was that he didn't like it, and that there was not an approximation, and that also you have linear versus radial acceleration. But did our boy come back up yet?
Yep, he's on his way.
Room, but he's as a listener here to me.
Yeah, I'm in the process of fighting the UI and making it give everyone mics. I think I wrangled into submission as Jenny.
Who is Super Echo?
All of us, and none of us. All right. All right, so Liliana, I dropped you down for a minute. We'll definitely touch back at the end, or when we can rotate you in, and then we got Nick Cage, we got our boy Deflated Globe, and then Jenny G.
All right. Wait, how is Deflated Globe a Glober?
Oh, it was a joke.
Oh.
That is reacting with laughing emoji, so probably he's listening.
Okay. Good call.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could definitely hear. I'll work on the mic in the meantime.
It's funny though, because from Bennett's presentation last night, if anyone was watching that, what we were able to glean from that drop is some mathematics concerning, let's say, ether wind periodicity in a universe with a pressure. What it equates to, right, is the actual translation of motion passed down from the sky to the ground. So it's like, what's affecting a pendulum? Maybe. Well, exactly this, and this much, in this degree. But that's a basic argument for translation of motion down from the spin of the ether.
I had a video of one of the curators explaining how the Vulcan pendulum works, and she said some electromagnetism.
Well, I mean, there is that explanation for like the Elias effect, right? Like, why would a pendulum have an effect, say, during an eclipse when there's an electromagnetic something where it's detected and measured? Like, why is that? How would that ever be affected?
Yeah, I thought I still had it, but man, it was on my other one that got nuked. I gotta stop talking so much.
You gotta stop getting nuked, man, if you can't handle it, you know what I mean?
No, man, I can't save all my stuff.
You gotta invest in off-service, storage mechanism, assuming that anything you put on Twitter will be gone.
Your next profile pic is just going to be a pair of empty shoes.
I'm telling you, well, I got. Hopefully, it stops at 2, man. I'm gonna try to be a good boy, man. They just won't let me see that. I tweeted out the space, no one could see it. Bogus. You got me on lockdown, Elon. I'm Peacock. Let me fly.
Free my boy.
Facts, man.
killing me, man. You're killing me. You're killing me.
Yo, deflated up. I'm trying my hardest to give you a mic, and Elon is fighting me, so I think he's going to win this. Doesn't seem to be able to give you a mic. But hopefully that answered your question.
SpaceX be damned.
And with that, we will move on to Jenny G.
Hey, what up?
Hey, good evening. I just joined, so I am not really knowing what you guys are talking about.
Welcome,
So
Jenny.
listen, thank you. But yeah, it's good to be kind of a part of the community. I'm developing lesson plans for next year, and so I'm just interested in getting some good, interesting things together because I'm going to be teaching earth science next.
Ooh, is that Jenny, our homeschool guru?
Wow.
The same.
Oh, all right.
Private school guru.
So now, what is that going to involve? Is that going to is there a certain age group you're teaching, or what? Just curious.
Middle school science.
Okay, interesting. Do you have any prior experience with that, or is this a first kind of the first time doing this?
It's new. I'm more of a biologist in training, so a lot of my expertise is in the biological fields, ecology and biology and those sorts of things. So it is a bit new, but and I'm a bit new to all these interesting things that I'm finding. So so I want to be kind of as just I mean I've always been like teaching students how to like question and think for themselves, and that's been um you know uh kind of my gist. But now that I'm like, oh, okay, there's lots more to question and to throw up into the maybe we should take a relook at all the stuff. So it's kind of interesting, kind of going back, and I don't know. It's
I
interesting.
support it. Absolutely. And I feel the same way because, you know, I am in college myself, so I'm currently on that line to where it's like I'm researching outside of my classes, the esoteric and the stuff that we don't get taught. I'm doing that, but I'm also taking what they show us in the school, like in the geography books, and it's like it's really you can apply it, but it's like when I talk about the earth in my videos, it's one data set of the stars. So it's like when they take this model of the fucking place that we are standing on, it can be manipulated in so many different ways. You could project this earth in 15,000 different variations. So it's like, which one do you want to live on, you know? And it's all the same geographical factors, like the nitrogen cycle and all those cycles that are happening. It can happen on the globe, or it can happen on the plane. I mean, I think it's just a matter of perception. And I've made videos about this, how, you know, the earth can be projected in so many different ways. It's a data set.
Yeah, you actually. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Shane.
Like I said, you actually had the key to that, dude. That astrolabe video I stole on your channel at the end explains how that was the first use of stereographic projection, i.e., to get something globular or spherical onto something planar, or in reality, to be plain, to project the celestial sphere onto the plane. Right? That's what a planisphere and an astrolabe does. And then, of course, like they invert everything. Today, they're like, oh, it has to be that way. We have all these various projections and conical and equilateral, and all the distortions are because you're trying to project a spherical Earth onto a plane. And it's like, no, incorrect as always. It's because historically it was trying to project the celestial sphere onto the plane. So we have a stereographic projection going downward. And the astrolabe did a fantastic job at that. And today we have maps that mimic that, right? That's exactly how we get all of our maps. So I mean, to say that it's different, like you get to choose which projection you're living on, but all those projections are projections of the same graticule, which would be the geographic longitude lat system, which is inherently spherical, which is based on the stars.
Absolutely. Like, and there's some interesting, I mean, I've been looking into making a kind of having the students experiment with sextants and sort of thing. So that's what I'm going to be looking at next year.
That's awesome.
I support it. I 100% support it. I think that's the best approach. I think what we all should kind of take moving in this direction is easing it in there, and especially with other people, when we bring it up in civilized conversations, in real life or online. It's the little things that we can, it's like looking for those openings, looking for those opportunities of something in a civilized conversation of a subject matter that we can bring up in a topic to break the ice, to break that barrier with people. Because I think that's what it is. Because we've completely shattered our ability to absorb information from the way that we've learned in the public Rockefeller hijacked educational system. And so when we come out of that, it's like we think we know it all, especially in Western America, everyone is walking around thinking that they've got it all figured out based on the quality of that system. And we've come to learn that there is, there's doubts. So I really support you, Jenny G, in that mentality, because I really think we should take it with a grain of salt.
You don't honor indoctrination degrees?
He's purchasing one right now.
Like, I forgot about that. I already purchased mine. It's doing well, doing nothing.
So you a geophysics major?
Geostaticist?
No, Corpus. Are you a geophysics major then?
I am not. I am actually in school to be a psilocybin psychedelic assisted therapist.
Damn, what courses does that require?
Man, are you a shroom dealer?
So I am innovating, and I am choosing a career path that is sort of new. Here in Michigan is one of the only places that is participating states, specifically in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at the university, that is participating in psychedelic science and university level psychedelic research, along with, the places in California and just a few other select places. So I feel grateful. So I'm taking that career path of therapy because it's going to be uh, a new movement, and I think it's going to be the future of medicine. And what my vision in my movement is to bridge that psychedelic movement, and I'm trying to bring geocentrism into the movement. I'm creating what I want to create, and so I'm trying to slowly get that geocentrism in there, and that's why I'm writing the book, and I'm trying to incorporate everything that I've learned from the school, from the classes, and I'm trying to make it in an educational style way to where people can be like, oh, okay, let me look at this, it's really not that big of a deal. People are just making it a big deal because their ego gets in the way.
Well, and they don't know the history, right? They're like geocentrism, and it's like, well, no. Yeah, it's always been geocentric. There's an equivalence that you guys are unaware of, and not only that, there's an inversion that now you think one is either better before or after the other, and it's like, no, it couldn't be further from the truth. So geocentrism is like the definite approach. Forget about flat Earth and black swans and stuff. Get people to see first of all the dynamic equivalence between those two. How all the static priests at the top of the global today will tell you that that's equivalent, right? So to get that under there and then be like, so then you're choosing based on philosophy, right? And then bring them that way.
Yes. 100%. 100%. And it's the mentality, we all say it. All of us who have been converted. I mean, I think I speak for everyone when we say we're much more happier now that we've come to the side of geocentrism. I don't think there's a flat earther out there that regrets coming to flat Earth. So it's like those people, I feel like it's a psychological thing. I feel like it's It has a psychology to it. They're damaged, man. These people are damaged, and they're not working on the healing. They're not going inside of themselves, and they're not doing that self-reflection. They're not meditating. They're not eating the right foods. They're becoming robotoids. They're just accepting what's given. That's a healthy
No, they don't even
mindset.
speak that language.
That's an unhealthy mindset. And so that's why I appreciate like every experience that I've gone through, like taking my experience and like learning psychology and incorporate it into it, because everything is all syncretism. Like we're all one thing. There is no such thing as time. Like we're all here and in
That's
existence right
important.
now.
Dude, that's important. You remember that one time I caught some buddies talking about, the time in the 12th dimension because they read a book, and I was like, whoa, 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 truthy homies, let's calm down. There is no time dimension. That's just setting you up for nonsense later that only is here and now, that only ever was now. There's never a past or a future. If you're having a Cartesian coordinate system and you have another arm extended to infinity called time, then you're getting set up for, time dilation, Lorentz contractions, the mathematical inverting your world around you to move the thing that couldn't be moved by inverting the math around you. So let's start that, nip it in the bud. There is no time dimension. Thank you.
It'll be okay, Shane. It'll be okay.
That was like my truthers are talking about time. Oh no.
To be honest, I have one regret to stepping into the flat earth thing, because before that I wasn't aware of people who are um, upholding the lies, people who are damning the truth, those who are kind of defending the ice wall, and why.
Oh, you mean
So
paying the rent?
now
Oh, you
now that
right.
I
I know
am
those guys.
aware,
Right, I know those guys.
now that I am aware, I feel too much of a powerlessness, powerless in this situation. Like tired hands cannot do anything about it because they have all these tanks and super fly jet, super uh, sea ships of the marine, etc. Like armor to the teeth, and we like with our money we can only afford a very humble air boat to go there, or a very silly one engine airplane to try to fly, and they can annihilate us with a simply pressing of a button. So why, and until when? The reason why they are probably upholding the lie that what it is in the beyond the ice wall is because there are lands there. Just when they discovered the Americas, probably they knew already. They say the Crystal Columbus when find the Spain Portuguese, the Portugal has the most powerful navigation system and schools of naval schools. They were traveling already, and they knew the Brazil was here. They were only waiting until they have this new deal between Spain and Portugal to come, because if you see in the map, Brazil is coming in the more uh, east of part of it. So if they change the deal a little bit to the cross line to be a little bit to the west, Portugal will get a big chunk of these lands. And then this information came to public. So probably now the reason they are hiding that the planet is not a sphere, it is a plane, is because we have way more far lands beyond the ice wall. But they are fooling us that we don't have, that the map is all that we have in our school systems, like going from Alaska to Siberia, or yeah, the map that we know, that we think it's only ice age, ice lands down there, uh, uh, southward from Australia. So this pisses me off a lot, that we know, but we are still locked inside here and can do shit about it. Excuse my language.
Infuriating, eh? Infuriating, eh?
Yeah, a lot.
Embrace it.
And
Embrace it.
the fact that the flat earthers are exchanging information like crazy on X, one of the things they are saying is that the pilots they say we are flat and there is no rotation to be discounted when making the calculation of flight, etc. But these pilots they are always being interviewed with a hidden camera. So are they part of this mafia? So if there is a mafia also into the airplane systems and the pilot for the public transportation, I'd like to ask one thing, because we know that we are not allowed to fly over Antarctica. Like for example, going from Australia to Argentina would be the easiest path to go above the Antarctica. So we are not allowed to fly there, okay? My question is, does anybody know if we can fly like very closely, like for example, from state of New York to state of Illinois? Can we fly in the full moon day, okay? In the period of the full moon at midnight? Because in the full moon period at midnight the moon is up above, perpendicular above us, straight above us, okay? And if the moon is local, as some footage has proven us, we have footage out there of the sun sunk onto the clouds, like if the sun is a little bit above the clouds. Got my point? So an
No, not
airplane
really. No, I
could
don't.
almost
No,
What are you
take.
making
I
of?
lost it completely. Yeah.
Yeah, I might need
No,
you to
not
wrap it up,
really. No,
B.
I don't. What
No,
point are you making?
I lost it completely. Yeah.
Yeah, I might need you to wrap it up, B.
We do have some hands up. I think we should
Yeah,
let.
absolutely. Nick,
I think Nicholas was first, and then Mister can speak.
Look at him keeping
yep.
tabs on the
I
list. I
think
love it.
Nicholas was first,
Dude,
and then Mister can
good
speak.
boy.
Look at him keeping
Yep.
tabs on the list. I love it.
Dude, good boy.
Man, can you guys hear me?
You got the floor.
Man, can you guys hear me? And
Loud
it's
and
just
clear. You got the floor.
it's like really double talking here. I ain't even
Why
kidding.
am I echoing? Somebody stop.
Exactly. So anyway, Antarctica is weird, but no, I just posted up there in the jumbo there. What'll happen to your blood in the vacuum? If you didn't think you could go to space before, you really can't go now, man. It's a done deal, man. You ain't going in there. But yeah, so there you go. I just wanted to show that.
I'm gonna need 37 one-liners immediately back to back on all the topics we covered tonight. Nick, go ahead.
Man, fucked up, bro. Give me some time, man. Give me some time.
I'll start you off.
So every time I ask these guys about, or anytime space comes up now, I immediately ask them what a medium is, and every single one is like 10 out of 10. I don't talk to ghosts.
All right, that's not bad.
So that's my new favorite question now. I just cut to the chase. I just end it right there.
Yeah, well, I like the 5 questions I put out. That's like, oh, you want to talk about maps? Okay, what are all maps projecting? Nope, wrong. We're not going to engage. All dismissed. It's like the globe. Nope, nope, no idea. You have no idea. You're not worthy. Go away.
You scare them away there, or what? You know, it's no globy zone, or what?
No, I mean, well, I'm not particularly friendly to globies, right? But they might be scared of Shane to come here. They like to talk shit on the comments, but to have a conversation or a debate when you can present evidence and talk fast at me like Winston, I don't know. It sounds like I should hide over here.
Yeah, the Witzig thing, man. You guys are getting pretty good at it, man. I can't talk that fast, but you just gotta learn.
Dude, honestly, I thought I talked fast until I saw Witsit once, right? And then I was like, holy smokes, what am I doing? I'm not even in the... Oh, man, I gotta go find this guy.
Man, the first time I watched one of his schooling globies, man, he was talking so fast, I was like, bro, I'm gonna have to slow this down and like maybe watch it again and understand what the hell you just.
Yeah, now we watch Wits at 1.5. Flex.
Not even a 2 yet? Yikes.
You're crazy, Alan.
Dude, it's like you're trying to just waste an extra quarter of the time of the video. Yeah,
Like
right,
you are the
dog.
speed watching champion. I don't know how you do it.
Well, speaking of Whitson and debate, is he still on for Saturday with Professor Dave?
Oh
Yes.
God, I hope
So
so.
we haven't heard from him in a while. He's traveling, right? He's been kind of out, but it is this Saturday. So unless sparing acts of God, etc., and if not Professor Dave still has the balls, then yeah, I think it'll be a debate.
Yeah, we need that. We need that debate to happen.
We need to do. We need to do a watch party.
Yep, we shall for sure.
I'm so
Absolutely.
down.
It's already
I'm
on the
so
books.
down. Okay,
That'll
so
be
is,
a good one.
who's next up to? Someone else wanted to speak. Well, Mr. wanted to. Excuse me, Mr. wanted to speak.
Yeah, how's everyone doing tonight?
Yo, hey.
What's up, bud?
Yo.
I was late getting on, so I don't know what you guys have covered, but I just kind of heard that guy going
Everything,
off.
and we were going over the mysteries of the universe and everything. You're out of luck now. We can't say it again.
No, it's good. I don't need you to, because I was actually thinking about that today. I've been stuck on it for a while that like the heliocentric or acentric model, whatever, like this idea of the universe is quite literally a dead end. Like, and the reason why it's a dead end, and this kind of hit me today, was that I was in the grocery store and I was shopping and I needed shampoo and there's 10 fucking thousand shampoos, and the chances of me picking the right shampoo that's not gonna
Well, it's like, yeah, it's good. They're all gonna have the same effect, make you not fertile. But
exactly, that's my point, is like the fact that I pick a right shampoo. In reality, I just need like three. Like, give me three choices and I'll be set. But what they've done
Make your own.
is, that dude was talking about Antarctica and the ice wall, but more so than that, they've given you this concept of infinity. And if that doesn't just immediately make you feel insignificant, I mean, we can't even wrap our minds around what that means, right? And then they say, oh, infinity is expanding. Like, it's quite literally a dead end. There's nowhere you can go with it. You can investigate all these different areas of science, but like none of them seem to correlate together. It's like there's all these different models, and nothing seems to really paint a very clear picture of what's actually going on and what we experience. And that dawned on me today when I'm like buying shampoo. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. No wonder why they gave us a universe that's never ending, because it's the same thing at the grocery store. It's never ending, and it becomes overwhelming to even be able to conceive of.
Sodium lauryl sulfate. Make sure your shampoo doesn't have that.
was that the sterilizing agent? Dude, who recently gave us the new understanding of infinity? Was that Bennett last night? When we talked about infinity and philosophically versus scientifically, right? How it's like either a really big number or a nothing.
Yeah, that was awesome listening to that. Like the first couple hours, the Hildegard stuff was, a little over my head, I'm going to admit. But when the way that he wrapped it up and his thesis on it in the end was so good. Like,
so good.
I love what that guy does. And it's surprising to me. You can tell he's still kind of on the fence about flat Earth, but that's all right.
Well, he took a hard turn away from us last night. It seems all right, but that's all right. Well, he made it clear. He's like, I'm not a geocentric. You guys keep calling me that. It was like, oh, he's like, yeah, I'm a geostaticist. So like, oh, that's way cooler. And it just means geostatus. Yeah, right. So no one can prove Earth motionist. And we're like, oh, that's legit and unprovable. Like, yeah, okay, that's a very good position. By unprovable, I mean absolutely true. They haven't proved anything against it, right? It's a very solid position. How do you say it, Toby? Geostasis? Geostatus?
Geostatus?
Geostatus? Like a
like
status?
The Earth is geostatic, so you're a geostatist.
That sounds too much like status to me.
You're a geostatus cuck.
Oh no, there it is. I felt it.
Geostadia.
Man, we gotta
Well,
pronounce the thing we are.
and to that point though, as well, it's like I was also thinking about the fact that I'm in a grocery store full of, I'm assuming relatively, what we would consider, normal globy people. And I thought to myself of like, I know this thing is getting bigger because I'm starting to see more and more people, it's getting out there more and more. The discussion is not, they can't hide it the way they did in 2017 and shut everything down. But like, how scary and like you'd really have to be ignoring this and purposely avoiding looking at the information now, because there's so much of it out there that it's like if you saw people waking up around you all over, you know at what point do you say, oh well, there's got to be something to this? I think we're going to start seeing the scales tip pretty far the other way soon.
Yeah, when all the mainstreams are talking about it, right? It's and when the context isn't look at these dumb goofballs, it's hey, look at these really seemingly intelligent, eloquent individuals arguing for something seemingly absurd. It's like, yes, that's the tack, that's the approach. That's like, why is it getting bigger? Does anyone know? Are people getting dumber? Do you think all the dumbest people are attracted to it right now? No, opposite, right? Only the smart people figured it out, and the rest of you will get there.
Brother, I just love the fact that you were having an existential crisis in the shampoo aisle, bro.
Me too. It's like, what does it matter?
Well, I don't know if it was existential. That's pretty much how my everything goes. I'm just like, trying to get through my day, while living in this, whatever the fuck this is, this system they've got us in. And so it's kind of hard not to go to these places when I'm, I don't know, just where my head's at.
But I gotta interject real quick. I think that's a dangerous place to be if we're saying things like we're the smartest ones and only the smartest people get this and things like that. I think that's how we end up like in an echo chamber, and how it just doesn't sound good. And I don't know. I've talked on plenty of very stupid, like really stupid flat earthers. So
It's all
I
true.
I
You're letting
definitely
one speak
and
right now.
very, very, very intelligent globers all the time. So
Also true, yeah.
so I don't. I just want to put it out there. I just think even if that were the case, right? Like I just don't think it's the best way to think about it, because we always have to have that humble approach of, having our ears open and being ready to listen to people and meet them on their level.
For sure, for sure. What Toby said is correct as always. But I was talking in the context of like InfoWars bringing it up, and it's like, so there's a new trend, and like, who gets the new trend first? Is it all like the people who follow trends? And it's like, no, opposite of that. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
definitely
that's
we listen
also
to people
true.
for sure.
Can we
And I'm
talk
gonna.
about that for a minute? The whole Alex Jones thing.
Did you see our boy on Alex Jones?
Cause like I'm like, that's got me fucked up in the head, bro. Like Alex Jones, and then when he made that episode, that threw me off, man.
You mean
Because
the one with Eddie Bravo and Dave Weiss, or the Harrison Smith and
but
Whitsitt?
Yeah, the new Witsit
all
one.
all of it, because like I don't know. This is just gonna. I've never told anyone this. This is just a thought I had, but Alex Jones is on the Israel payroll. So
Yep.
I don't know. Like I just try to connect dots here. So I don't want that. Seeing that episode just really threw me off. Like the whole entire fact that Eddie Bravo would go there, and I don't know if he knows it or not. Like because they're doing episodes. Like they did a couple episodes. Like Alex Jones is like flat Earth now. He's like, I believe the Earth is flat. And on video, I don't know if it's him just making fun of it, trying to get people to, like if people are watching him and he's making these live streams and making fun of, he's saying that he believes, but it's it's kind of not. Like I kind of get like this weird feeling that he's just kind of putting on a role or something. I don't know. It's just a thought that I had. It just really threw me off, and I just wanted to hear other people's thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think he was trolling. He's been adamantly against flat Earth for a while.
Yes, I've always seen him because I've seen multiple clips of him on Joe Rogan, and when he ever was brought up, he's like, "There's no possible way anyone who thinks the Earth flat has no understanding of scientific blah blah blah," and you know how he rambles on. But it's it just made me think twice. Because now like everything is really changing really fast. Like everything we really were used to is really not what it was. And like every single aspect about the past is really not going to be a thing in the very near future as we move into this Aquarian age.
Yeah, it does feel like a speed run for truther stuff this year, back to back. I do agree with you there.
I honestly kind of don't think he has it. Like they don't have a choice in it because of the fact that it's getting so big that they have to acknowledge it, but he can still make fun of it and troll it and still, like it makes it, if you watch that, I mean, sure, some people might hear something from it, but if you're just listening to two people talk about it without really researching, you know, because part of it is understanding that like things can work a different way. And I don't know about you guys, but it was hard for me to even conceive of the idea that space was not what they told me, like and
Right.
that's what when I when I really came to the conclusion that like Polaris doesn't move, everything rotates around that's what really got me, and I was like, oh shit, like, okay, so is this the bottom or the floor? Like, who, we don't really know. So it takes a level of like letting go of something that, we were told as truth. And I don't think Alex Jones has a choice in that stuff because it's getting so big, like he's like, okay, well, let's just do a little thing to entertain them and make it look kind of, silly. And, we'll make these two look, a little crazy. Like, that's what I mean as far as people waking up to it. And there are going to be those who see that and they're going to be like, oh, well, there must be something to this if so many people are talking about it. But they're going to paint it as a religion. It's just like this ideology, the way that they do everything.
Well, he had some beers with his dad and a telescope, so it's a ball, boys and girls.
Thank you for your thoughts, bro.
Yeah, how many people relate to that beers with my dad thing, though? Like there's a lot of people who'd be like, oh, yeah, I remember something like that myself.
They say it's a religion, but then you talk about gravity, you can't feel it. Talk about spinning, you can't feel that. Can't you? There's an obliqueness, you can't see that. There's a curve, you can't see that. There's a apparent horizon and a physical horizon. You can't ever see the physical horizon, so there's another thing you can't see. But yeah, we're totally cult over here. But whatever.
Now Jay Flurf had his hand up for a while. Jay Flurf, if you want to have the floor, if you still want to speak.
Anybody home?
Jay Flurf, if you're still here.
Yes, not.
Is he talking to me?
Yes. Did you still have something to say? You have the floor.
Yeah, I just have 2 points. Speaking on what Mister was talking about, I mean, the Globies, they seem to have, the ones in charge anyway, seem to have some of the ingredients, because I switched over to the safe deodorant, no aluminum or whatever, and after, I guess, a detox after about 6 months, and nothing but their toxic shit will keep my pits from stinking. Like, so if they could just leave the bad stuff out, I mean, we'd have some good products. And just the other question I had, like, if we could get somebody, if there is other lands, if we could find somebody with the caliber of Alan, Toby, Shane, Witsit, and Stone that is like a radio guy. Is there any way we can send a, because we can't travel up past the 60th south, can we send a radio signal, a distress signal? Like, is there
That's a
a
good
bat
thought.
signal we can throw up?
It's a good thought.
I'm not quite sure what your question is there. Can you hear me again?
He's saying like, since we can't actually physically take ourselves past the 60th degree south parallel, he's saying if maybe we can come up with some kind of apparatus or some kind of contraption to maybe radio signal and get some kind of connection on the outside.
To what?
Civilization, life, something.
Yeah, if there were other lands, is there
Right.
a possibility that we could reach them through some kind of radio frequency or something, since we can't travel ourselves to explore?
I think it's a good thought. Me and my buddy Blake have talked about this often. We've talked about how we would get over there. You know, like maybe figure out some kind of, or maybe even figure out maybe we could get a drone or something that could just sneak past. You know, like
No, good luck with that.
something. Right? I know they'll probably shoot it down.
Yeah, I had
But
thought about a team of live streamers getting as far as you could go, and then a team of 1,000 drones, and whichever got the farthest, and get whatever information we can from that.
Well, if you wanted to get a receiver team and head down to the south tip of Argentina, that would be the geographically most logical place to start, just to see if you're receiving anything. Like bring a total band scanner and see what's coming at you to that point. I mean, because you'll have the same odds of transmitting to them in that case.
Yeah, I'm no radio guy, so I don't know what what we would need to do or need to see or hear or send and not send or receive. I don't know any of that, but it's just a thought I had.
I like the way you're thinking, man. Because it starts with a thought. You know, I've been contemplating this here and there to myself. Well, you know, like there's got to be some way to be able to try and make some type of contact if there is other lands over there outside
Yeah.
of the ice wall. There has to be,
What I
because
was also what I was also thinking is, so if I don't know if you guys know Brandon Joe Williams, if we could create a nation that is not in the treaty and have that nation travel uninvited through Antarctica, like could we create a nation that's not in the treaty and send people under the guise of that nation?
I think you will probably find yourself militarily occupied soon.
Gaza 2.0 real quick. No, but all jokes aside, though, that's actually, free exploration is inevitable, right? It's strength in numbers. The gentleman who earlier said that we're outgunned, they have a military, but you know what? They go to extreme efforts to censor us, right? We know about the YouTube way back when, and as free as this free speech platform is in Twitter, we know we get shadow banned. So understand they go to great efforts to slow down the message. So we have strength in numbers, and an idea catches fire as much as it spreads. That can happen. So just keep in mind that we are on the inevitable side. You could only slow truth down. You can't stop it. But just keep in mind, it's always fun to think about how we're going to do this. Free exploration is inevitable, but understand that there's risks involved, right? I keep thinking back on was it election 2016 when John Kerry went down to Antarctica when Trump won the election? Like, what's going on with that? Is this a safe haven for the elites? Is we always hear about the stories about Hitler having a military base in Antarctica, whether that's fiction or a fact? It is to wonder. Or is there a civilization that's trying to keep away from everybody else? Maybe they don't want to be found. You know, we got to assume the worst and the best and be prepared for both. So just keep all this in mind when we know that free exploration is inevitable, and it's just a matter of time.
I like it.
Yeah, my last thought on this, and you can drop me down. What I was thinking, like, if you get a team of live streamers and some kind of redundancy with the live stream via some kind of network, I don't know how this shit works, but where we could have a signal with a group of 1,000 live streamers down there, 10,000 drones, and it's all being redundantly the signal sent back. Like, they couldn't attack us then because it's all in live stream, like live for the public to see. And I'm sure there's a downside to it, but it's a thought. It's just one of my thoughts.
Veritas has your hand up. Do you want to have the floor?
Sure. Yeah. Hey guys. Number one, I want to express that I love the energy in this room. You know, I know we're talking about something that is a pretty intense topic, and depending upon the rooms that you go around, at least in my own personal experience, you can find less harmonious energy involved. I wanted to share my perspective on this. You know, we've heard of the phrase "catch 22." Right? Catch 22 is a rock in a hard place, wherein there's no right answer, right? And the way I've determined to live my life is to accept the idea that when I find myself in between what appears to be a rock and a hard place, a catch 22, this versus that there's a door number 3 that unifies both but gives me what I want. And for example, in politics, I don't get involved in politics normally because I'm in the middle, man. I can see some things about Republicans that I like, and I can see some things about Democrats that I like. And for some reason, if I start talking about being in the center, both of them seem to hate me. Right? So let's take that same perspective and apply it to flat Earth versus spherical Earth. It's my understanding that everything is Russian dolls. Scott Fitzgerald once said the sign of a high intelligence is one who can take two ideas that seem to be in opposition to one another and make them make sense. What if we can operate both on a flat plane and a spherical plane simultaneously? And what if the enemy is not those who believe in the sphere or those who believe in the flat, but those who convince us that there's an enemy in those who believe in the sphere and the flat? In the Marvel movie, they introduced the idea of a tesseract. And a lot of people who watched that movie, I assume, didn't know what a tesseract really is. It's an actual thing. And from my understanding, a tesseract is a fourth dimensional cube. And the thing about a fourth dimensional cube is that it is so big and so vast and so incomprehensible to a three-dimensional understanding that I could not show anyone in this room what a fourth dimensional cube looked like without using multiple aspects of space-time and presenting it in the form of what we could call a GIF. What if everything is Russian dolls? If a being was one-dimensional and lived on a one-dimensional plane, does it mean it has to do something to exist in a three-dimensional plane? No. It is simply a one-dimensional being, only able to observe a reality that aligns with its one-dimensional understanding, yet it still exists in a three-dimensional plane. And wherein a four-dimensional cube or tesseract can be compared to a three-dimensional cube that we are aware of, couldn't the same be said for a fourth dimensional sphere married to the idea of a three-dimensional globe that we are aware of? Something that is so big it transcends our present understanding. And is it possible for a being to exist on a flat plane of two-dimensional idea of time-space, existing in a three-dimensional sphere that exists within a fourth-dimensional hypersphere, similar to a tesseract that exists within a fifth-dimensional sphere and a sixth-dimensional sphere. And perhaps the enemy is not the idea of whether or not it is flat or spherical, but the idea that they are in opposition to one another.
So the thing about that though is that we can measure that there's no curvature out there. And that's what my point, and I didn't articulate it very well, but like with the Alex Jones thing and why he would put that out there is to make it sound like an opinion rather than what we objectively observe, and what science has failed to prove was that we were flying through space, that science has failed to prove, like there is no measurable curvature. There is no proof we would revolve around the sun. And the things like Alex Jones and what they're putting out is it makes it sound like flat earth is an opinion rather than the objective truth of what your senses actually, feel and see and hear and touch and taste and all these things. Like there's an objective reality here that is not an opinion. And you're right, the globies aren't the enemy, because we were all once globies. Like these are just people that are either ignorant to the facts or they're reluctant to look at it. So that would be my comment to that. As far as the Tesseract and all that, I mean, I don't really read too much into, all of those. I mean, they're cool concepts, but what can I tangibly grasp? What can I tangibly hold? What will spiritually, cause me to be a better person and treat my fellow man, better? That would be my thoughts towards that. And maybe that's not what the answer, maybe that's not even relevant to what you were talking about, but I think that's kind of my point about it, is that flat earth is not an opinion. It's what we objectively observe.
Yeah, along with what Mister said, it's a geometric conundrum you have yourself in, right? Sheepdog has this saying: if the surface of the Earth doesn't curve, that means it's necessarily flat. And being that that's the case, you can't have it both ways. It's an either-or situation. But as far as maybe not the surface, maybe the cosmic egg. Uh, with George Lamont, who was the founder of Big Bang. Coincidentally, he hinted at the cosmic egg universe, maybe not universe, maybe something more local where the surface is inside of an egg. But that's just speculation at this point. But what I did want to touch upon is what you said about the 4D tesseract. Um, Here's the thing about with the time being malleable thing. The scientism pushers often say, hey, just like a flatlander, a 2D flatlander can't experience the third dimension, we of our three dimensions can't experience time dimension. And it makes a very loose, vague definition of what time is. It reifies it into an existence as being a medium or a realm, etc. Time is a convention that measures change, right? The relative change between things, right? Clock measures, atomic clock measuring oscillations, um, uh, a sundial measuring shadows of a continuous sun that goes around. So it's a measurement of phenomenon. You have a broken clock, you don't have a broken time. It's a mechanical issue. So we just got to be careful when we reify these concepts, such as time. Time is absolute. It's Galilean. We have Galilean transformations that are reliable. Till Einstein comes in and say, "Hey, why don't we just bend time and space and just make my reifications work?" And then we start heading into trouble. So understand that the time has a definition. There is a referent in reality, and when we start getting into vague, abstract concepts, we kind of start losing reality. So
Well
it's
said.
great
Time
to have these
dilation
ideas
broke
as
my
long as we
clock.
can test them. Is the point? But go ahead, Stone.
Time dilation broke my clock.
Xavier reiterated what we already said about, time as a dimension. Definitely don't need that.
Dude, I was gonna do my homework, but length contraction.
Well, listen, the space-time continuum that can't possibly exist because it's a mathematical abstraction that I'm going to ascribe physicality to, that thing, that's why I didn't do it.
Yeah, I solved it in a different reference frame, so
You know how the lab frame is the only one that matters? Well, in my bucket frame, it does matter, and I can pretend all I want. That's a very specific joke that only 3 people get.
dude, hyper specific, but so glad you made it.
Who's that with the Newton's bucket?
Just a couple of bucket lads.
Well, and it's also not a battle between round and flat because flat's not a shape, right? Like the idea is a torus field, and maybe that's where you get your fourth dimensional sphere is a, spiraling torus field. So maybe that could make you feel better about it.
Gotta love this dude, man. You're the best, by the way.
Yeah, I just have to say, whoever that guy was who spoke, both of you guys, but the guy who spoke after me, I followed you immediately. Where were you guys when I was growing up with all these ideas in my head? Crazy.
By the way, I'm following everyone.
Jail.
Yeah, everyone here should follow everyone else here. These are all the best people. I'm just kidding. Toby's gonna yell at me.
Man, like to be honest, look, man, I understand that the majority of the people of this world have a misunderstanding, but I am constantly seeking for others that can either challenge my present understanding with something of value, or even correct me in the understanding that I have. But it's so few and far between that it makes these moments when someone can follow me with something that can make me think, that is beautiful, and I appreciate that.
Facts. Same.
Well, and to be clear, I'm not trying to correct you. It's just that, we all came from a place where Marvel movies shaped the way we thought. And that is part of the indoctrination. And once you, really see what this thing is and, as a creation, it's much more simple than that. It's way more simple than that, What did Rob Skiba, he was one of the dudes that he did this, this little observation with a sun, like a fake sun on a table, and just doing perspective on how it could, uh, go into the distance without shrinking in size. And he says, if Rob Skiba can figure this out, then it's pretty obvious that a creator would be able to, make it happen, because
Well,
that's kind of my point. So
I give earlier kudos to guys like Lucas and Roddenberry, major players in this arena.
I don't know that I know who either of those people are.
George Lucas, Star
Oh,
Wars,
okay. Yeah, of course.
and
Yes, yeah,
Gene
okay.
Roddenberry, Star
Okay.
Trek.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Those little franchises, those spin-off thingies they had.
Yeah, those tiny little
Oh, that
guys.
Just
little
back
that
in the
little
60s.
thing.
When did Star Trek end?
70. Star
68.
Trek was 67, 66.
I think it was like 68.
Well, and don't forget about that little one that did all those dinosaurs. What was it? The geriatric park.
Hey, man, that
That
movie
was
scared
like
the hell out of me, man. I ain't gonna lie. First
93.
Jurassic Park, I was like, leave the mosquitoes alone. Why are you
I
doing
thought
this?
you were end of the lost. The other dinosaur video. Sorry.
That's when I thought, man, we got to get rid of the scientists, man. They're gonna kill us.
Fuck science.
You're gonna get us blocked, bro. Calling for genocide is against TOS, probably. The dude who spoke a long time about the time dimension thing? I think I was listening when I was walking my dog. The thing that I heard that you said that was cool was like, "Oh, we're not the enemy, right? The people. What if the people telling us of the division and the division isn't the enemy itself. It's like that's kind of how I started. Like, guys, the Globies, the Globe Defenders, the Globe people, they're not the enemy, right? They're diffused. They've been deceived. They're the distraction. They are us essentially. The people lying to everyone clearly are the enemy for everyone. That's who we need to focus on, right? So when we're viciously attacking our Globie counterparts here on Twitter, it's like we've lost the plot a little bit.
Well, and I would add that, like, they're not an enemy, they are choice. They give us freedom of choosing between this or that. If we didn't have the freedom to choose between a lie and the truth, we'd be in tyranny.
Well, that's sort of true, except there's this thing called atomism where they don't give you the actual counterpart and they expect you to only learn about this one frame of reference to interpret phenomenon like light or electromagnetic radiation, and then they don't give you the counterpart of etherism. So in that way, it's like, well, they're karmically free, but they haven't presented you the alternative. There isn't a choice. They're like, hey, everything is atomism. Deal with it.
I agree. But you know what, Shane? You see the truth, which means you can find that. And without them offering the lie, what truth would you have to find?
But typically what you say applies like directly, right? Because they do duality, they do offering, they do left and the right. They do, I can pretend to be like Bill Gates, a philanthropist billionaire who gives you wonderful vaccines at lifesaving. On the right hand, participate in whatever the worst, massicist job thing ever. And it's like left and right, give and take, yin and yang. That's my duality belief. You can be a wonderful philanthropist and a terrible demonologist, right? Like that's how they're karmically free. But that all revolves around the choice. And if we don't have the choice, if they never give us option B, then that doesn't apply to their karmically free stuff.
Exactly. But for you too, you would be in tyranny. If you didn't have the choice to do drugs, if you didn't have the choice to drink, if you didn't have the choice to choose a vaccine, then are you truly free?
Well, dude, hold on. Somebody else want that?
Yeah, because bottom line is that this was when we were innocent children. There was no choice. We were following along with like what he says in the Truman Show. We accept the world with which we're presented as children. We trusted those who came before us that they were telling the information they were telling us was true. So like, yeah, I'm not responsible for the trauma that was inflicted on me as a child, but I am responsible for my healing. So you're right. I don't live in tyranny, but it's pretty fucking tyrannical to do that to a child. And it's no wonder why we're in the situation that we're in when you have, these people, whenever this whole thing got started, it's not some just like, oh well, you can figure it out. No, there was a true intention to really enslave humanity, if for lack of any other word. I mean, what else is it? Like,
Yeah, opposite of that too. Like, not only can you not figure it out, but you're too dumb, stupid, uneducated, ignorant, malleable, and uneducated to be able to tell anything. You can't tell things. You have to give up your authority to the authorities, and we'll tell you which way is down, and then we can tell you what you're actually seeing and how it works. And by then, we own your mind, and you've been enslaved anyway.
Yeah.
oh,
And
and
can I add
well,
something to that?
the person that tells you that is your own family. They get your own family to go against you when you question, well, wait a minute, how does that make sense that there's people upside down stuck to a ball in Australia, and your mom's like, don't be stupid. Like it's pretty simple. Like it's not. Yeah. I don't know.
Guys, do you mind? And stop me if you want. I can share my experience with you just to make a point. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
So, I was born premature. Both my parents, I grew up, I was born in the projects. Both my parents were heroin addicts. They were heroin addicts. And before long, me, my brother, and my sister were taken out of there. We spent from 3 years old to 5 years old in the foster care system and had, I'm not going to get into details of it, everything happened to us that you can imagine that most people would consider negative. We got adopted at 5 years old. When we got adopted at 5 years old, my adopted mother lost her mind. We were severely abused. And my adopted mother thought it was in her best interest to prevent herself from having her reputation ruined to frame me for grand larceny and attempted murder. So she set me up robbed their own jewelry, the whole story. The police officer who took me out of the home that night knew she was lying and protected me and brought me to their daughter's house and so on and so forth. But then we went into foster homes until I was 16 years old. I found my biological father because I remembered my family's last name, and I called 411.
I think we're
Yo,
getting a little too far into the
yeah.
weeds
So,
here,
so
my
the
man.
point I'm going to make.
Hey,
The point is this: that I'm not just some guy who's happy-go-lucky. Who's just like, hey, life's good. I had a great life. We're all in heaven. But I will tell you that everything that I experienced in my life, if I could change any of it, I would not change a single thing, which means there was never a they operating against me. There was only a they operating for me to create the story that I wanted to experience. And that's it.
I can totally 100% appreciate that on a very elevated spiritual level, especially as on a personal journey. I am not a victim of the world. I believe that things are, it doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. I agree. However, not all of that, like, with the system that's set up, like, do you think it's coincidence that people are this sick to the point where they are addicted to heroin and losing their kids? I mean, if they knew the truth that, this place is seemingly the center of the universe, that this place is created special, that you have significance, your life has significance. Like, this idea that infinity, and this was my experience in the shampoo aisle today when I was there, this is the idea that infinity is so overwhelmingly large, it makes me feel insignificant. We're not even a speck of dust on a speck of dust, we're a virus on a speck of dust. And this is what is taught to children in mainstream, in schools across the world today. And so I get that, i I commend your spiritual enlightenment to be able to know that truth, because I actually 100% agree with you. But as a spiritual being knowing the truth, it then becomes bigger than you, where service to others and helping others to see the truth then becomes the best way to honor that truth that you have and that you hold in your heart. And so for us here, this it happens to be the flat earth, because it happens to be the one thing that ties everything else together. Like that, if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you came from, you don't know what this place is, you don't know what you're capable of doing in it. Like, we
boom.
don't, so that, I agree with you, but I also understand that, like, just because we're spiritual beings doesn't mean I don't have to remember my goddamn zip code. Like, so that's what, like, I appreciate you though.
Mister, all your
Nice.
answers are awesome. Every time you interject, by the way, I think I say this every week, bro. But I'm just lucky that you're here with us, man.
Good energy, guys. Good energy.
I'm lucky to be here, that you guys even, let me spout, because the bottom line is I'm pretty full of shit. Like, I'm not nearly as smart as any of you guys. I'm really not. Like, I listen to all your guys' stuff, and I go through and I watch, and I can digest some of it. Like, I'm
We're all
still,
fucked up, bro. Everyone's fucked up. It's just the Globies have figured out a better way to hide it.
Fake it till you make it, bro.
yeah, I'm just trying to learn. And that's what's been wonderful about this, is it's given me a new passion for science. And even, you know, I started out with the electroculture. It's gone totally not the way I wanted it, and now it's blown up in my face, and I have to redo a whole bunch of shit. But I'm still, that's how I'm gonna learn, is trial by fire with it. So
Yep.
it's one step at a time.
One step at a time.
Nice. Dude, we covered lots of topics already. pretty organic, free flowing change of
We
ideas.
sure did, man. Lowry and Comrade have had their hands up for a while, and Deflated's back,
Yeah, I
and
forget
then
who had their hand up first.
Shut of Insanity or whatever.
I think it was DFL was first.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to add my thoughts on so the whole Glober and flat earther thing, and people say, "Oh, we were Globers before too." I don't like to think that way because if given our own accord, we wouldn't be Globers if it wasn't shoved down our throat. Like if we just were allowed to live without the indoctrination system of public school or the education system, like we never would have come up with we're a sphere traveling through all the different vectors they say we are. So I don't like to believe that we were all Globers. Like we were forced to be Globers. Like that's my thought on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. But that is a sense of of relating to other people who have not yet come to this. It's kind of like if I go to an AA meeting, I'm going to announce myself as an alcoholic because that's how I relate to the newcomer. I don't walk around saying that that's who I am. I don't think of myself as a sick person, just like I don't think of myself as a globie or a glober or whatever, heliosexual, however you want to label it. But when we say we used to be that, yeah, okay, there were points in time where I always was inquisitive about, there was things I was skeptical about as a child. I didn't believe people were upside down in Australia. Like that sounded ridiculous. I didn't, I couldn't conceive of this us spinning around the sun, but I bought into it and I just told myself, well, they've figured it out and I'll let that be and never thought about it again until, 2015. So it's more of just a term to relate to the fact that like we were where you were at. It's not any better than or less than. It's comparing first graders to fourth graders. We're all still just kids trying to figure this shit out, but we might have done a little bit more studying than the first graders. It's not that they're
Well,
more capable. So
when we're talking about the the succinct colloquial like that, I kind of move towards the religious syntax in the same way that we say when we're trying to find common ground with somebody, someone will say, "Oh yes, he was or she was, I was brought up Catholic," and in this same context, you could say that you and I were brought up Globy, and then see where they go from that.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with like the terminology. I just like to reiterate that like that's not natural. That's not the norm. Like that wouldn't happen naturally if it wasn't forced upon us.
Of course
Normal
not.
and not general.
Found out the distance to the sun. I'm like, who measured that? I'm like, how can they be sure that that's the distance? I'm like, what metric did they use to tell us
This
that's how
guy.
far the sun is? And how can they not be off by, oh, 93 million miles? Like,
What does that mean with the sun distance guesswork changing again? It's like, yeah, dude, they get you when you're most malleable. They try to indoctrinate you with all the authority. They get you when you don't question it as a kid, and then they put these ridiculous, contradictory ideas in your head, and then they get you to trust the authority. It's like, well, if you question it, you're too dumb. If you don't know, then you don't understand. Well, you don't get the math, well, Einstein developed relativity, which will, mathematically contract the whole world, and you don't understand it. So obviously, and that's where everyone is at. Like, I don't understand it, right? But somebody does, and that's why it's a globe. And that's kind of what we're pushing back on. It's like, oh no, turns out nobody understands it, right? And the people who try to understand it end up on our side.
yes, like I I never believed what they said was true, like the measurements, the distance. Like I'm like, how can you measure that? I also never believed the time. How can you carbon date something to a million? You can't test back more than a couple years. So how do you know it's a million years? So I was
Yeah.
always reluctant to abide by their numbers, like, but I still believed space. But the numbers, like, I'm like, they don't. It could be 2 miles away. It could be, like, I never agreed
Well,
to the numbers. I always thought, like, I never believed one iota that they knew what they were talking about.
Well, I mean, so that's the trick, right? It's not like they made it up. They based it on observation, but then they used math to trick and covariantly scale, say, a zero point 0.5 degree sun to be like, oh, it's 229,000 miles away, 2 million miles wide, which works, but it could also be 93 million miles away, 864,000 miles wide, but it could also be 46,701,000 miles away, 432,000 miles. Oh, wait. So it turns out, right, all these factors, these factorials of a 0.53 degree observation could all currently be valid. So anywhere from 3 million miles away to 28,000 miles wide, they want an extreme, 1,500,000 miles away and 14,000 miles wide. It literally can work for any host of those things. They don't tell you that. They tell you the one, and they're like, look, it's proof.
The
Yeah,
cool part
they
of what you
made.
just mentioned was the fossil record, or actually, rather, you mentioned carbon dating going back millions of years. And I saw this in lecture once on how circular it is. This guy telling a story about his kid asking wise questions at the museum, where the direction is along the lines of, well, geez, if it's carbon dating only back tens of thousands of years, how do you know that that object is actually X million years old? I said, well, oh, well, we check that rock against the fossil record, where we find that kind of rock with those kinds of fossils. And then we know that they were from the same time, that many million years back. He says, okay, well, great. Well, then how do you date the fossil record then? He says, oh yeah, we carbon date that.
Yeah. Also, real quick, you guys had a space like a week ago. Is there, like, is it legit? How many moles per gram of the element? Like, is that a legit number? Can we prove that, or is that pseudoscience as well?
You
What they
kind of broke
call
up when you were asking the question there for me.
Sorry, I was just asking, is when they say an element has so many moles per gram, I forgot all the how to phrase it, but is that legit science, or are they pulling the wool over our eyes on that? Like, can they weigh each element and it has so many moles per gram?
I don't know what he's referencing from last week, but we're talking about the density layers of, let's say, electron levels to get, molecules to be different.
No, he's talking about how they tried to integerize atomic mass element to element. It came back we were talking about two talks ago on Discord. Yes, it's
Yeah,
all part of the
the
extrapolation. It's
smallest
ladders
measurement.
upon ladders upon ladders, and they've built it all for us. Yeah.
Yeah, but that wonderful covariant scaling trick is neat. It's like, how do they know all the sizes and masses? And it's like, oh, they don't, right? They don't know anything. All they know is that this one observation is this big, and from that they scaled a mass and diameter, and from that, not mass, from that they got a diameter and an optical, let's see, and pretty much an optical diameter, right? How big does it appear? And from there, they interject mass through wonderful Newton. They just interject it magically, like, boop, there it is. Now it has mass. And from that's the only way they can gauge mass of the solar system. So literally, from an observation of the sun and the moon at 0.53 degrees, they built the solar system. Don't worry about the three-body problem. We can't actually predict those, but we can simplify it to a series of two-body problems and do the sun and the moon, the Mercury and the moon, Venus and the moon, Jupiter and the moon, put those together in a pretty picture, and boom, we math you a universe. Anyway.
And also, if you guys don't mind answering this, can they prove that? I guess it's the electrons that one spins up, one spins down. Like, is that a legit thing, or is that all?
So, no, when they measure that magnetic moment, it has a specific orientation of the field rotation. So if it's going following the left hand rule, or I'm sorry, right hand rule, they're just basing it off of that. That's what it's in reference to. It's just they just dress it up to spin and then talk about it like it's a mystical thing, but anyway,
Yep.
that's all it is.
Right, they take the atomic thing and they go probability cloud for electron, and they're like, actually, what it is a toroidal field. It's like, yeah, well, we know where it is, sort of, with probability, and it's like, no, everything breaks down to toroidal fields, kind of.
And interesting on the spin prediction, right? So they've got this prediction, right? But we live on this globe. Who knows where up and down is? How is it spinning? Who's to determine the right hand or left hand? Which one do we use, boys? Well, it turns out if you use the lab frame, you determine up and down. I don't know.
Whoa. How do you get up and down on a geoid, Alan?
Oh, dude. Well, you have to make sure you're perpendicular to the equipotential of the gravitation of the geoid itself, right?
Right.
So that means if you're standing straight up, you actually need to tilt back a little bit because your local down to that center of the geoid is off due to the gravitational potential and nothing else. So.
Right.
You deflect the vertical and adjust as you please.
Yeah.
Boy.
Are you saying that when you go down and reach the middle and then you head in that same direction, you're still going down and not up?
Well, on a geoid, you never really know where you're going. That's the problem, right?
Well, you're going slightly more down to the correct direction to get to the center of the geoid, allegedly.
But
to follow like
definitely
an
not up, right?
To follow
Definitely.
an imaginary like Newtonian path, yeah.
Bro, there isn't no down and up. There's only infinite tangent lines to a sphere, which has a down, which is the end result of its centripetal inward acceleration, which can only be tracked from the geopotential of an equipotential relationship to gravity, which has to be perpendicular to the down, which then has you having to drop a plumb line, which can't possibly be level because you don't know, can't tell. So you take two arcs of that wonderful plumb up to make sure it's level within the 100th of a degree. Other than that's how you find down on a geoid. Isn't that retarded?
As long as you're not headed to Chicago, you're good.
It's so funny. Dude, it turns out, like, for humor, we just sit around and steal man globe ideas. So, take that, globe.
Well, don't let McToon know.
Oh, he knows. Dude. We know more about geodesic survey. Matter of fact, if anyone asks for flat Earth evidence, just go ahead and cite this. Ready? mctune.net/se with the American Arc of the Parallel. We have pages 62, 73, 107, 7.
He knows.
But wait, how would a plumb bob work in zero gravity?
Well, in reality, you just drop it on a level plane and you can tell that's level, right? But if you don't know where down is, you have to go through all that excess crap we just said.
Or if you make a measurement that you can't really get to compute to your predicted model without introducing a blatant correction, then you need to come up with a story as to why your measurements are off, and it's because your plumb bob is actually lying to you, and that's because you're on now. Duchesne, how exactly did they determine how much vertical should be deflected for the equipotential of the gravity?
Well, they depend how much it aligns with the current stars, right? Because that's all they ever do is look straight up to measure the ground. So when they align it to the stars, if it's off a little, that's how they get the vertical deflection. Pop that right in the book for celestial navigation so that when they navigate back to that spot using the stars, they can reapply that same difference to get actually back to that spot. That's what the deflection of the vertical gets.
So you're telling me the deflection of the vertical story about it being due to a relationship with the equigravitational potential is actually meaningless, and it's about the position of where the stars are at?
It doesn't make any sense for what they use it for, does it? It seems that they go through the ellipsoidal aligning with the geoidal, and it's like, but at the end, we just shove them into this almanac.
Well, that is fascinating because the way that most people think of it, it's not that way. They don't even know what the deflection of the vertical is.
Yeah, everybody should look into that.
Like once you get to that point, it's a wrap, dude.
Like when someone says geodesic surveying, you should look deep into that, and you'll probably find all the same conclusions I did.
Awesome, dude. We got some hands up. So we got Comrade, and then we got Shelf of Insanity.
Yeah, that's actually along the topic that I wanted to bring up is angles of elevation. I like to push perspective when I'm talking to Globies, especially the angles of elevation to Polaris and how that works on a sphere when you end up with parallel lines.
Go on.
Yeah, so for every angle of elevation on your latitude, you'll end up with parallel lines to said star, and using, it's like they consider perspective Euclidean, right? So I haven't really gotten any answers because geometrically it doesn't really add up. How do you have parallel lines intersect and then say that's where that star is?
I think this man is talking curved visual space, boys.
Ah,
Interesting.
And a little bit of 69 miles per degree with the unit circle, probably.
Hmm.
my man,
Right.
have you been to adl.place?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
nice. Yeah, I was
nice.
gonna say Shane's got a ton of documentation on what you're describing right now.
Right,
Yeah,
parallel angles to Polaris.
for sure. So I haven't seen that, but like you've definitely led me like in that direction, and like honestly, if it weren't for you, I probably wouldn't have found the dynamic between heliocentrism and geocentrism. But
Hell yeah, nice, man.
yeah, so like again, like I don't really get a straight answer from Globies. Like it's either it's just an approximation, or they'll sort of hand wave dismiss it with parallax, like, oh no, we used parallax to figure it out. That's kind of when I started pushing him on his perspective Euclidean, right?
Oh, well, when they do parallax, just hit them back with negative parallax. That'll make them busy. No?
Can you
Unaware?
can you
Yeah, we
yeah,
got a
can you
couple.
explain that?
Real quick.
They take these real precise measurements for what they're saying are their parallax to get their parallax angles, right? But what they find is that sometimes there are angles that go in the opposite direction of what's predicted by the heliocentric model. So and those angles will be larger than the ones that they measure that are in the positive direction for the heliocentric model, and they'll go, oh, you know what? Well, that's just an instrumental error, and it's actually going in the right direction. They just completely they just do the old switcherooski and chalk it up because they know, because the heliocentric model is so correct that the stars can only be going in one direction. So anyway, there's this, like, it's a known thing that pops up in their in their data sets and whatnot, and they have specific mathematical ways to quote unquote handle it and interpret it and round it down, and without using the negative numbers as the as the distances, because that would make them completely invalid. But because because the negative angles are much larger than the ones that are the positive ones, that it's not how could you say that that's instrumental error but not the smaller one in the right direction? You know what I mean? So it gets into like a weird thing there. And they don't really have an answer for it. It's just meaningless jibber jabber, right? And then you could get into Airy's failure to determine like the meaningfulness of star precession and who's moving, us or the sky, right? Because that's what the big mystery is about. Like if someone like, yeah, sorry.
Dude, stellar parallax, disproving the motion of the Earth since Aries, the royalist runner.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that, because I see a few. So I'm from TikTok, so I see a few of the quote PhD physicists unquote, the TikTok physicists who will demonstrate an actual triangle to Polaris, which kind of contradicts what we observe when we actually take angles of elevation, which we end up with these parallel lines, and then I'm getting these diagrams that they just hand draw. They don't even show you measurements or anything, and go, look, see, if we just extend these lines out infinitely, they will intersect. And that's where this whole that's where I just kind of lose it. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
make
it's
it
like,
work.
bro, if your belief system requires a convergence at infinity that may or may not take place, then
Alan, hit
like
him up.
then that's a wrap, dog. You know what I'm saying? So
He said
You might
triangle.
be a redneck.
yeah, and then so to get when they get a triangle involved, I'll send you a diagram here in a minute. For any parallax angle that they say is mutually exclusive to heliocentrism, there's a geocentric equivalent, right? Because it's just a triangle. So if you flip it to the base of the triangle being the 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 time of the year and the time between when you're taking the measurements, and your location being the point, well, congratulations, you just inverted it, and it's now completely equivalent and irrefutable because it's just an observation. Oh, thank you, Shane. I'll put that up in a second. And then that's where I like to take it to stellar aberration, right? Because that's like actually that should be the heliocentric meta argument, because that's the one time that they took a measurement in the sky allegedly and got a ratio of 30 kilometers a second when they ratioed the speed of light against the 20 arc second angle that they measured for the for aberration. Now, that's their best evidence, but that's a measurement. It doesn't tell you if the sky is moving or if we're moving, and that's where you get into Airy's failure, where you introduce an independent variable of water. You do an actual experiment to see which is moving, and they found that the starlight already comes in at an angle. So that inherently means that the idea that the cause of what they're measuring in the sky isn't the Earth motion. It's either the sky is moving or there's a medium between us and the sky that's moving. You could look at it like either way, but the implication though is that we're stationary. So that's where I would take it, because there's no actual answer for Aries failure. You'll get nothing. You'll get straight crickets.
You'll get misinterpretations and non-historical accuracy. That's what you get.
Yeah, you'll get, oh, he didn't measure the ether. Okay, dude. By measure the ether, do you mean he didn't have to correct his telescope to correspond to a velocity that would confirm heliocentrism? Is that what you mean by ether in the telescope, dog? Like, yeah. So
Yeah, I've even got him say that, like, oh, it's an approximation. It's just like a billionth of a degree that makes the lines intersect eventually. But at that point,
that's it.
That's so gross that guy knew that and said
That's a
that
steel
out loud.
man, right? Like, oh my god,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
still
because
believe that?
most of them will not tell you that or don't know that. So that's crazy that he's like, oh no, they converge at infinity. Bro. Don't
And
worry
one
about it.
bajillionth of a zero, dude. I believe that.
It is almost always that way in every scenario with the Globies. When they say, "Oh yeah, because formula," and you say, "How about variables?" Plug them in, get the real numbers, and show them the sig figs, and all is revealed. And then the Globies are looking at those numbers for the first time, of course, and they have never come up with an explanation for why none of their math actually works with real world figure. It's just outstanding.
No, then it's got him pretty shook, especially some of the bigger guys on TikTok. Yeah, and now like at this point I'm trying to like really push perspective. Is it Euclidean, right? Is there actually a limit to how far we can see
Do you
and
know
not just
Rue?
infinitely? Who?
Yeah, do you know Rue?
No.
Nobody
Oh,
knows
we should
Rue.
set you loose on him. We gotta make a formal introduction. On Discord, gentlemen?
We act like he's a big
Yes.
deal, but nobody knows him but us.
Oh, yes. I see a brilliant matchup coming in the making here.
Interesting.
But
I
yeah,
like it.
curve visual space is definitely key to understanding how the measurements in the sky were taken and all that. So
Absolutely. Yep, the logarithmic approach to the limit, but never approaching it, the limit being exactly the dimensions that they prescribed the globe, going all the way back to Eratosthenes, measuring sticks and shadows with what? Alexandria and Cyrene being 800 kilometers apart, 7.2 degrees difference in the shadows divided by 360 times 80 gives you 40,000 of a circumference. And it's like, yeah, but that's just a circle denoting the limits of the sun going east and west. So literally what you have is how far the sun goes, or your azimuthal grid of vision, literally your celestial sphere. And then they're like, oh, you know what I measured? The ground. And it's like you have zero evidence for that. And simplistically, you have to apply it to a circle before you apply it to a sphere. There's no spherical circumference.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta stop myself. I go too fast. But dude, stellar parallax is a great one. One Flat Earth Friday, somebody brought it up, and they still haven't been back or seen since. They got like so butthurt and so wound up and backwards that they were like, can't compute. It was like, show us how the Earth's in motion. They were like, stellar parallax. We were like, oh, come on over here, sit up front, grab a mic, everyone take a minute.
Yeah, I just like I'll just finish with this, but because I really like this format, because it gets so hectic over there, and we just don't have really consistent moderation and stuff like that. So it's just nice to come into a space where you actually allow people time.
Hell yeah, man. We love the community. We love listening to other truthers. Like how we scope out, right? Do we have
Yeah, for sure.
hands?
For sure. Sacred was over actually earlier today. He didn't really get a chance though. It was too chaotic.
Sacred was what?
Oh, we had him up in a box earlier on TikTok.
Oh. What's your TikTok, dude?
It's at underscore
You don't have it
dot.
linked?
What's that?
You don't have it linked anywhere on Twitter, like in your bio? Or?
No, not yet. I just started my
Alright.
Twitter account.
Like I can tell from your backdrop, it says Earth flat, space is fake and gain. Fuck Israel. We're gonna be friends, bro. I can tell you right now.
Cool.
Let me find your
Yeah,
TikTok.
it's like at underscore install underscore application, or you could just search Comrade.
All right. That's a ridiculous ad, just so you know.
Yeah, I know.
All right, I found you. Cool.
Yeah, I'm actually already following you, I think.
I can't. TikTok is like the biggest shadow ban I've ever seen. It's like, guess what? You have one view on everything you do, no matter what. It's like, I don't believe you, TikTok. Something.
No, it's true. I don't know. I've been like flat Earth active for several months now, and it's at the point now where I can't really even post anything without either getting a strike or taken down, muted, shadow banned.
Yeah, I wonder how people like Corpus over here excelled on TikTok. Although I guess excel is relative. You really should have like.
Welcome to the club, my man. You're just so you know you're getting somewhere is when they're just putting you in the corner.
Hitting that algo suppress.
You know when it happens to you because it's like a sixth sense. You just feel it.
Yep. And compare by going to other platforms. But like if you have 2,000 followers on TikTok, which is bomb, you really probably have like 11,000 people who are following you around on the internet. But TikTok's only allowing you to see that. You know what I'm saying?
That's my backup. My main's got like almost 9.
Nice. Then it's probably closer to 50.
Yeah.
Nice, because like the numbers are just lies, all lies, especially TikTok. You remember when that meme was going around? They were like, "Flat Earth is going up on TikTok, and here's all the the trending numbers." And then a month later, they were all gone. You were like, "Huh? What happened to those historical numbers?"
Yeah, it's growing slowly but surely. Lots of people are interested in the topics.
I feel like it's growing really fast, actually, and they're just trying to hide that from our optics. Like they're not trying to stop it; they're trying to stop us from seeing it.
Speaking of that, what about Fly Me to the Moon that's about to come out? What's your thoughts on that?
They're getting ready to admit that the moon landing was fake, obviously.
Honestly, I'm moving that same direction. I was like, they're warming up. I think they are because they're putting it out there here and there if you know where to look.
Who's heavy breathing or needs to speak?
Freddie. Somebody
Sorry,
needs to
it
walk
might
closer
have
to the
been me.
mic.
I apologize,
Yeah,
my
Axel, how you
friend.
doing?
Hey, I mean, I'm a little confused. What is your argument against stellar parallax? I'd like to hear it.
There's no argument against it. We just understand that there's 46% negative parallax, which when you're using it as an argument of Earth's motion, which understandably can't go left and right using the same uniform bipolar spinning sphere, right? So that's why.
We looked at the data.
Those are words, but the thing is the Earth revolves around the sun, the nearer and distant stars move, across each other. Are you saying the stars don't move versus
the
each
challenge
other?
is afoot, gentlemen.
This is why I need someone to break it down simple. Corpus, or whatever you're up. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you saying the stars don't move relative to each other?
Nope. We're saying the measurements are equivalent. The triangle used to give the heliocentric prediction that says that the causal mechanism is Earth's velocity moving around the sun is a there's an equivalent triangle that you can use to say that the Earth is stationary and that the sky is in motion.
It doesn't matter what the causal mechanism is. Are you saying that the stars do not move relative to each other with through
Oh, well,
parallax through the
the
air?
whole thing is about the causal mechanism, so I'm not saying that it's not a measurement that's taken.
No, I don't care about the mechanism. I'm just saying, are you saying that the near and distant stars do not move relative to each other, or do they?
Does it sound well, I'm not saying that, but how are you not able to figure that out yet?
I mean, they do. That seems to be an obvious fact to me. I'm just
That's why I gave
asking
an
if they.
equivalence though, right?
But
Like,
but what I'm saying is, do you? So you agree that they are moving relative to each other,
Wow.
or
yeah, so
you don't agree with that?
we're gonna go ahead and wrap
All
or
right. So
let's see
you're
who was
saying that
next.
you're not willing to commit to one thing or the other because you
No,
don't know
Come on,
what
you're
the fuck
bro.
not
you're talking
listening
about.
to the answers that are being given to you, and it was given to you quite explicitly. And he tried to give you an equivalence to show you the difference between the heliocentric and geocentric frameworks, and it went right over your head, right over the your
Oh my
hair.
lord in
No,
hell!
no, I'm still talking, and it's clear that you're clearly still not listening. So why
So
are you
we're
actually here? Are you here to waste your own time? Because you've already wasted our time. And actually,
Yeah,
the saddest
I
part
already
about this is
removed
that
him,
you're
bro.
wasting your own time.
Buddy, I have no time to waste. Anyways, I was just asking that
You have no time to waste.
if you agree that the stars move relative to each other, and I have not gotten an answer for that. You can
You
either say
have
yes or
three
no.
times
so
now.
so actually, right? And for your model and our model, what you do is you treat the stars as a ever equidistant moving web, uniformly distant from each other, and that's how celestial navigation accurately works. And then you can pretend to know that actually they're different in different distances from each other, all independently with a huge scale of light years, meaning billions and billions of years. But actually, when you need to treat them as such, you abandon all that and treat them as an equidistant web of moving stars that progress laterally 69 statute miles per degree for every movement, right? So
All right, so they do move relative to each other. You agree with that?
holy shit, guys.
Yeah,
Or
this is why
they
I got
don't,
angry with.
or they don't
This is
move
why I
relative to
got
each other.
triggered
Like,
because you don't listen. And
listen.
no,
Either one,
let's be
either
done.
one of
We're
those
done
two
with
things,
this.
I'd like to hear about it.
We're done with this because you have demonstrated the fact that you're not listening.
Don't we have depiction of constellations like from ancient Greek? They're all the same. The Scorpio, the whatever. They're all the same. They don't change.
The
Well,
Zodiacs?
that's not what he's saying, but anyway, we already moved on.
Although Zodiacs are a cool
So
topic.
can I go now because it was my turn before he asked.
Oh yeah, absolutely, bro.
The last time I was talking, I'm sorry for that because I probably got glitchy, and I think I had to be kicked out or whatever. I was talking about the flying on the moon, full moon days. What was the last part that people couldn't understand me saying?
Well, why were you equating flying with a full moon? First of all, that was where I was losing.
I was talking about previously. I said a guy says that nobody regret from going to flat Earth, and then I say that I regret the part that I wasn't aware that we have people upholding lies. That now that I am aware of that, I am pissed off by how powerless we are. That we cannot do anything about because they have huge and super powerful navy ships protecting the nice wall, and all we can achieve is a silly inflatable boat to go there. And the next part I was talking, because I think that part I wasn't glitching yet, but the next part I was saying is we know that we have a mafia um, maintaining these lies about it, um, and I think the pilot of airplanes for transporting citizens, they are part of this mafia because all those footage people put of them interviewing and saying that the earth is flat and there is no rotation to be considering for making the trajectories of the flights, those are interviews with hidden cameras. So it's like the pilots are thinking they're having a small talk instead of being interviewed by camera. Okay, so yeah, they do know something. So am I glitching yet or not?
Nope.
No, you're
Okay,
Nope,
clear.
you're good.
okay. So the other thing that we know, I mean the flat Earth community, they realize that something is weird. Is we are not allowed to fly over the Antarctica. Like for example, to go from Australia to Argentina would be the shorter way to go above the Antarctica, but we are not allowed to. There are certain areas that you're not allowed to fly to get to even get close to certain areas that they want to hit us from us. So having this said, that the mafia is not only the NASA and those actors like the Neil deGrasse and etc. We have this mafia in the airplanes, trajectories, and companies. I have a theory, like if we have known that the sun and the moon are local, in order that we have footage circulating in the internet showing the sun sunk into the clouds. It's like the sun is not billion light years away. The sun is a little bit above the clouds, right? We have footage showing this to us. The same goes to the moon. So my question is, because I'm not into that much about the knowledge of the flight companies, are we allowed to go, for example, from somewhere in New York to somewhere in Illinois, okay, across two states, a short distance? Are we allowed to get an airplane in the full moon day, okay, by the midnight? Because in this period of time, the moon will be perpendicular to us, which means
Okay.
a little above the clouds.
So
And
what
when
is
I
your
was
objective to this flight? What's your
what? Sorry,
goal?
what? Sorry.
What is the objective to taking this flight at midnight
Yeah,
west?
that would
What's
that
the deal?
that was precisely the point of my explanation that I got glitched. I had to refresh the window here. My objective in this would be the moon is a little above the clouds, right? If we get an airplane having our moon perpendicular above us, like the noon of the moon.
It'll
If we
be
get
due
a
south
cloud,
at midnight when it's full. I get that part.
yeah. If we've had a flight on that moment, we will get very close to the moon if the moon is a little above the clouds. So I wonder,
So
because
I see.
all the footage we have from that I got from the moon, footage of the moon from an airplane, they are very distant. It's like it is not noon. It would be something like, say, 6 p.m. that the full moon is rising on the horizon. So the moon is always distant from the airplane. At midnight, in the full moon night, the moon would be a little above the airplane, very close to it. So if the mafia knows about it, they will simply forbid no flights would be taking off and landing between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. in the morning when we have full moon nights.
did you look that up?
No, I'm asking. I'm asking the
Oh,
public here.
oh yeah. Look it up on flight.com and let us know. All right, let's see. We got
Me.
Yaya Watermelon. You're next.
Can I say something to that real quick, Alan, about like this dude thinking all pilots are. I don't think all
No,
pilots are in on it.
I'd
Like, even if
I'd
they
rather we just
ignore it.
didn't.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So,
So what's
Yaya
wrong
Watermelon.
about to ignore it?
No,
Well, I
It's a
can
no,
dumb
nothing.
tell.
question.
Nothing. I'll tell you what's wrong. You just asked us a
Oh,
hella long question that you could have Googled and then had an answer for, and then you could have supported your own claim rather than asking it in a. Anyway, let's see.
okay,
Who's
sorry.
next? Oh, you're good, bro. Liliana, we're gonna close on you. We're actually gonna end. Oh, Xavier, your hands up too. So we'll close on either of you two if both your guys' hands are up.
Oh, let Xavier go first because actually I was gonna say that Mr. Xavier. Sorry, what?
I was just wondering, what about Yahali?
Yeah, yeah, you can let him go first. I was just gonna say that Mr. Xavier's previous little presentation or whatever you want to call it, his communication was so beautiful. So I wanted to hear another one.
Oh, you're so nice,
I
Lily.
do have something else to say, but I can go last.
Sure thing. Save the best for last, indeed. No, but I just wanted to there's an interaction that the guy tried to muddy the waters like all trolls do, and I kind of didn't. I'd be remiss not to just communicate that for the audience that probably got lost in that shuffle. The negative parallax is important to their model because the expected rotation of the Earth would indicate the stars moving in a predicted pattern. And sometimes what happens is
Lord.
that the expected patterns happen to move in the opposite direction of what their globe model expects, and that's a huge problem for them. It's a huge problem for them. So the guy tried to muddy the waters and not let that communication sink in because that is important. So yeah.
Yo, yeah, and
Yeah,
sorry
thank
I
you.
let that guy trigger me, everybody.
Nah,
Nah,
same.
you're
It's
good,
like
bro. That happens to
if
all of us, bro.
yeah, if I
They're
continue the
insufferable.
yeah, if I continue the conversation with him, like I'll end up doing that too. That's why I'm just like, nah, let's just talk about something else. Because like clearly you have an agenda to not hear what I'm saying, and like I'm cool with that, but we're also gonna move on super
Yeah.
fast now. So, but yeah, and then
An
so I think
agenda to not hear what I'm saying. That's exactly what he had.
yeah, it's like I gave you an anyway. Yeah, watermelon. If you're there, you got never forever hold your peace or whatever they say, right? All right, Liliana, you're up.
No Yahi. Oh well.
Oh, did Hermetic leave?
I think so.
Oh, that's so sad. Wasn't Hermetic the one that was talking about Terrence McKenna? I wanted to send him a photo or whatever.
Of
Anyway,
course. Yeah, I think you had to go.
he had to go. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. But yeah, actually, when you guys were talking about a time before the moon or whatever, it got me thinking about this one Vedic story in Vedic cosmology that talks about when the sun was much bigger and brighter. So maybe the Antarctic basin was a whole lot bigger. I don't know. Maybe, life forms were slightly bigger. I don't know. Just speculating. It just got me thinking because it does specifically have a story that, the sun was bigger and brighter. And then later, um, the architects of the world, uh, sun goes and requests the architect of the world to make him smaller and less bright. It's a whole story. But so they did. So he did. So the architect made the sun smaller and less bright. So it's just an interesting thing that it got me thinking when you guys were talking about the moon. And yeah, so it was a really fun, interesting conversation tonight.
Cool.
Happy
All
to have
right.
you as always, Lily. Thank you for the words.
And everyone. Happy to have everyone. Really good
Yeah,
community.
for real.
It's good to like open up a space and know there'll be 7 Gs that'll show up and just talk legends with us, like without even thinking about it. I love it.
Yeah, for real. So do I see more hands up, or are we good to wrap it up?
I think we're good. The
Because I
only
think my
hands I
UI is
see
bugged.
are yeah, the only two I see are the two that already spoketh. So I think we're good to end. Toby, real quick, where do I if I'm parched, like when you wake up in the morning and you're oh god, you just don't know how to start the day, you're parched, nothing's quite right. Where can I go to get like something to start my day that's like natural, roasted by a human being, and it doesn't contribute to the bowels of Satan?
Yeah, you can head over to brushtail.coffee. That's BRUSHTAIL.COFFEE. And you can get coffee that is not from the bowels of Satan or whoever. And yeah, it's instead going to be from either a dry process or wet process facility. I like to differentiate between one and the other because that makes the coffee taste quite different. If you don't know, dry process coffee, they leave the cherry on the bean when they dry it out, and so it imparts a little bit of like a fruity flavor to the bean, whereas the wet process is more of the classic style that most people are familiar with, where they actually wash all of the coffee cherry off of the coffee bean before they leave it to process. So that gives you more of the classic nutty kind of spicy flavor that most people are familiar with. But all my beans are, of course, Arabica beans because who wants to drink a frickin' Robusta, right? Come on now. So, anyways, or sorry, yeah. Anyways, yeah. So head on over to brushtail.coffee. I roast it myself on my grill with a little motor contraption setup. And also, you can follow Brushtail Coffee here on X/Twitter. You go to at brushtail.coffee or brushtail at brushtail coffee, one or the other. You can find it. I trust you. You're a smart person. So yeah. Thank you, Alan, for the little
pre-dunk
for sliding the puck over to the net for me so I can put it in the net.
Oh my god!
Hey, thanks, man. Anything to get my boy to put one
Oh,
off the
you
top of
teed
the
the
key.
puck up for me.
Oh yeah, Toby, your Tanzania one's really good. I need to order more, so I will be.
Nice. That's actually what I drank this morning.
Yeah, it's so good. I remember when Toby sent me a free one, and then I was like, "Oh, what a good guy!" And then I was like, "Oh, I'm obviously going to spend all my money buying this forever now." That was a good ploy, dude. That's a good way to get people on.
But yeah, I do it because I like the coffee. But yeah, we can go ahead and wrap it up on that note, though. Yeah, don't get triggered like I did by that guy. Instead, do what Alan said and just move on quickly and patiently. And don't let people waste your time. That's why I got angry, because that guy was wasting his own time. And I don't, not to get too meta and talk about it too much, but it's important to be aware that I say this to hopefully allow some people to break some patterns that maybe we fall into where we let people like that waste our time.
Dude, fools don't let fools believe in stellar parallax.
But yeah, so tune in next Monday for reading night, and Tuesday. If you guys missed it, you should check out on Tuesday night. Dr. Robert Bennett, did a presentation, gave an Aether Roundtable presentation. You can check that out on either Space Audits or Aether Cosmology on YouTube or Rumble. And that was pretty fantastic. It was mentioned, of course, already a couple times tonight, but I definitely recommend checking that out. He's going to be giving part 2 of that presentation next Tuesday, so I would recommend checking out the one he's already given, getting ready for the next one. He gave a great layout of logic, like a fantastic layout of logic and a philosophy of realism and understanding the philosophy of the person you're debating with if you're entering into debate with somebody. That was really excellent. And then just a fantastic presentation of his geocentric model. So, or I guess Hildegard's geocentric model. Geostatus model, yes. The Earth is geostatic. I guess he doesn't necessarily call it geocentrist, which I guess really, I think the main reason he's probably saying that, and I think a lot of people, it is odd to say geostationary because you're geocentric because you're saying everything revolves around us, around the Earth. Whereas I think some people would kind of suppose that maybe there's something else that everything is revolving around that's not necessarily us, but we are.
We live in a bubble of the firmament, and I've seen pictures that we have several other bubbles around us.
Hey, bubble guy.
Actually, you should check out the presentation I mentioned because that's exactly what it's about. So you should check that out. It's Aether Roundtable number 35. Go check that out. But yeah, so everyone take care. And also, we'll do another one of these next week. So, yeah, peace out. Much love.
Thanks, everyone.
Later, G's.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks.